Alright, stick with me, you and I are about to see an underdog become a god. Tenma faces Izumi. This legendary mentor created humanity's strongest hero. To test these kids, he summons the ancient awakening monolith. Student after student tries their luck, but one by one they all fail to awaken. Of course, the local fat bully is the only one who actually manages to awaken his power. Tenma shoves that pathetic bully aside and grips the stone. In that moment, Commander Izumi witnesses a god of destruction. A massive blue lotus blooms from the stone as Tenma unlocks a power that shocks everyone. It is a hidden skill called overmimesis. He can now adapt to and counter any opponent's power. He is basically a cheat code. Jealous and petty, the bully tries to jump our boy from behind. Tenma vanishes and reappears behind him like a literal ghost, paralyzing the bully with fear until he wets himself. After a quick analysis, Tenma gains Thunderwave and traps the coward inside a mini Lotus domain. Every time he adapts, people call him a monster. He just keeps stacking one overpowered skill after another. But just when things seemed under control, everything goes south in an instant. Now pay attention, this is where the story hits another level. A massive monolith falls from the heavens. That impact means a disaster beast is coming. Naturally, everyone starts running for their lives. Not Tenma. He is too furious to care. He stands his ground to face the threat all alone. This monster is the exact same species that killed his mother. Finally, it is time for payback. He is literally smiling while facing a giant, flaming skeleton soldier. Talk about a happy day. With his new powers surging, our boy decides it is time for a live field test. He activates Thunderwave and rockets forward. The skeleton slams its weapon down with bone-crushing force. But Tenma is a blur. He dodges the strike with ease, moving faster than the eye can follow. He counters with a devastating punch. He refuses to let anyone else die to these monsters. That single hit sends the giant crashing down. His classmates can't believe what they are seeing. They are frozen in shock. If he is this strong, do they even need to keep running? This rookie was a nobody minutes ago. Now he's blasting level 8 calamity beasts through buildings. The supervisor realizes Tenma's level 0 strength completely breaks all known logic and power scales. But this isn't over. Beating a skeleton soldier is supposed to be impossible for a newbie. It has insane defense, and right now it is activating its most lethal move, Bonefire. Searing blue flames erupt, creating a wall that vaporizes anything it touches instantly. His friends are terrified, while the bully is actually cheering for Tenma to die. You and I know this isn't the end, it's just the start. Get it? Like a true copy ninja, Tenma analyzes the flames. He notices that his analysis speed accelerates as he takes damage. The instructor is losing her mind. This shouldn't be physically possible for anyone. Not even a level 10 awakener could survive direct contact with those intense blue flames. Tenma's skin is literally melting off. He is being burned alive right in front of them. You can see his ribs as his body withers, but he just stands there, not giving a single damn. He sees his mother in those flames. The supervisor realizes the boy hasn't even gone full power yet. Looking absolutely savage, he threatens to end the skeleton's life the second his mental analysis reaches 100%. I am not kidding, this is easily one of the most metal moments in the series. His classmates feel like trash for ever doubting him. They can only watch in pure awe. The blue lotus surges again. It is a sign that a miracle is about to happen. Even as he withers, Tenma unlocks a new skill, the black ice wall. He generates ice instantly across his skin, completely nullifying the skeleton's fire-based attacks. The system kicks in and heals him instantly. No more burning. He is back and better than ever. Tenma knows one hit wasn't enough. But with these boosted stats, he is ready to finish it. Trust me, you and I are about to see this monster truly lose it. Stick around. Alright, stick with me, you and I are witnessing a beast who moves like Gojo inside a domain just to heal his wounds. Even the teacher is frozen, stunned by that insane healing factor. He just dropped a lightning attack too. This guy is built different, the definition of an exceptional awakener. His recovery is so fast it makes you wonder, can he literally grow a new brain from scratch? But the skeleton soldier is done waiting and blasts him with another massive wave of blue flames. This time, our boy doesn't flinch, he coats himself in a layer of heavy metallic ice. Those searing blue flames can't even touch him now. He's officially immune to everything the monster throws out. Now, pay attention, watch this next part closely. He lunges forward like a god of absolute destruction. He slips past a wide slash and uses that ice armor to sprout a massive blade right from his arm. He looks like a final boss already, and we're only at the start of his journey. Tenma swings that building-sized blade, cleaving the skeleton in two like a Kit Kat strike. The crowd is speechless, his speed and power are just on another level. His movements are way too fast for any normal human eye to track. The ice armor fades as the fight ends. He's just mastered the ultimate balance of perfect offense and absolute defense. His friends rush over while Rookie gives him a huge hug. Sayo's gone, though she was too worried to stay and watch. Tenma thinks he made her mad, but the instructors? They're just standing there with their jaws on the floor. A rookie just took down a calamity beast that would have crushed even a level 100 veteran awakener. Cha gets orders to clean up and tell the principal one thing: this genius is coming with them, no questions asked. His best friend is hyping him up like a god while the supervisor steps in for a serious one-on-one talk. The rest of the class is buzzing. Everyone knows Menyu might actually take this kid on as his personal student. Remember, this man trained the strongest hero alive, Jin Taiwa. His standards are higher than you could ever imagine. The friend clears out to give them space as the commander commends the boy for his truly unique talent. Tenma has no idea what he means. Now here's where it gets interesting. You saw it too. Menyu noticed the pure hatred buried deep in the boy's heart. He wants to know why he's so resentful. That's when Tenma reveals the tragic story of losing his parents. 10 years ago, he was seconds away from death until a mysterious awakener stepped in to save his life. But it was too late. He watched the bonfire flames consume his mother right in front of his eyes. Her final words told him to live with conviction. Since that day, his entire world has been fueled by pure hatred for those beasts. He wants to slaughter every last one of them, starting with the demon of ruin and his entire kind. That rage boils over even now as Tenma cries, a detail Menyu picks up on immediately. Weirdly enough, his left eye is dry, but the right one is streaming tears all on its own. This strange phenomenon has been with him since his mother died. After hearing that tragic story, Menyu makes an offer. He wants Tenma as a student so he can finally hunt those monsters. The Savior League was built for one reason: to kill calamity beasts using the most powerful awakeners in the entire world. It is basically an elite army specifically trained to end monsters. Members are called saviors. They get top-tier gear, weapons, and training opportunities that most people can only dream of. Even a trainee pulls in 10,000 gold a month. In this economy, I would do it for 200. It is a massive payday. But all these perks come with a heavy price. Saviors are the front line. When a calamity beast appears, they're the first ones called to face the nightmare. Honestly, Tenma doesn't care about the money. He just wants to kill those monsters for the love of the game. He is basically becoming the Doomslayer. He accepts the offer, learning that 10,000 people compete in the league exam every February. You get points for merit, but only the top 100 candidates actually make the cut as saviors. This makes our boy wonder what's the highest score ever recorded. Mino remembers the record 115,000 points, set by the legendary warrior Jin Taiwa. Nobody has touched that record for 11 years. Even getting 50% of that score would guarantee you first place. So, trust me, you and I are about to see if Tenma can actually surpass humanity's greatest monster. Alright, you and I are about to witness a rookie with a massive ego try to shatter a legend's record. This kid has that blue lock energy and he's dead set on crushing the top score, leaving Menyu totally stunned. It takes Menyu back to a talk with his student Tawajin, who predicted a human would finally surpass his talent. The old sun is finally setting and a new one has arrived, and all that insane potential is sitting right here. They reach the stone monuments, those mystical gates that act as bridges between the two worlds. Slaying monsters isn't enough. You've got to destroy the monuments or they will never stop spawning. The building ahead was designed to isolate these gates, keeping them locked away from the public. They act like tests for new saviors for training purposes, basically turning the whole place into a training facility. In the League's terms, it is called a stage, where the beasts inside are completely out of control. This is why rookies get absolutely slaughtered here, giving the facility its dark title, the Rookie Graveyard. Now pay attention to this number. The record is 3 minutes, and to pass this test, he has to beat that time. Only then will Menyu officially regard him as his true student. In the next scene, Menyu is walking around with the rookie everyone is gossiping about. People are already comparing this kid to the legendary strongest warrior. They can't believe he's actually walking shoulder to shoulder with a master like Menyu himself. While the crowd whispers, our boy focuses on the disaster level. It is level 10, way harder than a skeleton soldier, and he wonders what kind of monsters await. Looking at the shocked faces, Tenma wonders why everyone here acts like they've never seen a stage before. He approaches the reception and asks to enter solo, leaving the lady completely confused about where his party is. A heavy silence follows. The receptionist takes this as total disrespect and thinks he is just hitting on her, but this guy landed in anti-Riz territory fast. Tenma is clueless while the spectators mock him for having such a massive hotshot ego. He tries to clarify that he's not trying to flirt with her at all. He just wants the challenge, but she thinks she is the queen and he's just acting tough. She is even ready to give him her number just to make this idiot stop. Genuinely rage-baited, the man threatens her that he won't repeat himself again because he's just not interested in a basic receptionist. All he cares about is his mission. Terrified by his cold words, she finally agrees to his request, warning him that his death is now on his own shoulders. Tenma grabs the bracelet, totally annoyed. The simps nearby think he's a fool for turning down the girl just to play the hero. Here is the thing. You and I know that any rookie challenging a level 10 stage is basically on a suicide mission because the gap is insane. Some people are still curious about Tenma's gift and how he will actually use it. But since his level is still 0, everyone watching thinks he is already as good as dead. Ignoring the noise, Tenma scans his identification and steps through to the other side. Paperwork is done, time to throw hands. The timer starts, and his 3-minute countdown begins. He lunges forward like a beast. Even as an artificial stage, this place is absolutely massive. His first ever encounter is against a level 4 Kadama, which is one ugly monster dog. He slaughters the creature with a single, brutal slash of his blade. Remember his ice powers? He can instantly create battle axes and any weapon he needs. With one monster down, the rest of the tree logs arrive, looking like nightmare versions of Pokemon. Outside, Aya is totally against her father putting him through this trial. There were easier stages, but he sent Tenma to the hardest one because he wants to see him surpass Jin. He is literally measuring him against a god. Aya thinks beating the ultimate warrior is impossible, but her father is curious if she really believes that. Trust me, you and I are about to see just how terrifyingly powerful the legend of Jin really was when he's serious. Stick with me, his eyes are cold and calculating, just like a god. It is as if this man majestically surpassed the human race and became a deity himself. Menu argues that Tenma has the same potential, but reaching that godlike level will take quite a while. Jin is a god and the savior of humanity, while Tenma seems like a demon fueled by pure hatred, making them total opposite forces. Back on stage, our boy just annihilated the entire Kadama group with total ease. Unfortunately, his Miss-Us ability won't even bother scanning these weaklings for any useful data. Suddenly, he feels a presence behind him and instantly retaliates with a slash, taking it down instantly. Tenma starts wondering if these level 10 disaster creatures are actually all this weak. But that can't be right, or this stage wouldn't be known as the rookie graveyard. There's something he's missing, and he's exactly right. The system detects a B-rank skill called self-regeneration, starting the analysis cycle now. The creature he just cut down stands back up like a colossus, instantly trapping our boy in massive vines. Even after being sliced in half, the monster just regenerates the injury. Now watch closely, this thing has level 10 strength, so Tenma activates his black ice wall to cover his arms with spikes. His goal is to inflict enough damage that the creature simply can't regenerate anymore. He starts cutting it relentlessly with his twin swords. In the back of his mind, the analysis cycle is still processing. A huge slash severs its head, but it's not enough. Tenma's actually enjoying this massacre. He's the true monster here, determined to tear it apart so it can never heal. He lands so many cuts, you'd think he used a domain expansion. The monster explodes into pieces, finally ending the brutal fight. Which is good, because Tenma is running low on mana from his ice skills. But plot twist, this thing regenerates to full health from tiny bits, just like Perfect Cell. I know what you're thinking, how is it still alive? Well, every time this creature heals, Tenma's analysis speed actually multiplies even further. But the fight is getting overwhelming, forcing him to save mana by cutting out his ice skills. The smart move is to use speed and wait for the analysis to finish. Worst of all, he's running out of time too. Saying, "Forget it, we ball," he activates Thunderwave and Black Ice Wall for one last desperate attempt. Tenma shreds the vines to force more regenerations, speeding up his analysis because if his mana runs out, he is a dead man. Then again, if he can't handle this, he'd rather die than be a total imposter. Mustering one last slash, Tenma tries to take the head, but his time is finally up. His mana hits 0, and he instantly gets more holes in his body than a slice of cheese. This is his final chance as the Miss-Us process finishes. It's the only thing that doesn't cost him mana. The Blue Lotus spawns again, unlocking the Lotus Burst skill from the creature's own self-regeneration. The monster tries its best to tear him apart again. But the Lotus Burst effect is currently activating, detonating all surrounding mana into explosive destruction. Also, the Miss-Us process is now auto-healing every wound Tenma took. The monster watches in shock, and the moment our boy claps his hands, that Lotus unleashes literal hell. The massive destruction incinerates absolutely everything in the surrounding area. Reducing the creature to ashes, Tenma is wounded, but this was his ultimate trump card in the fight. Amazingly, he unleashed all that chaos using only a third of the mana he just got back from his Miss-Us ability. Now, mob monsters won't be a problem, since the Miss-Us skill replenishes both his mana and his health. A single shard remains, while the world outside is falling into total chaos. The receptionist is terrified for the rookie, and begs them to send in a rescue team immediately. Even Aga didn't expect him to lose to a level 10. The real problem? Clearing the stage in time. Suddenly, the stage reveals a new record has been set, shattering everyone's expectations. The 11-year record was broken by Tenma, who cleared it in just 2 minutes and 14 seconds. And that's where we leave it. You and I just witnessed a legend being born as this underdog crushed Jin's record. Wild, right? Alright, stick with me, we're about to see if he finally earned his mentorship. Menyu is truly impressed, praising his new disciple. It is a rare sight for a Gaia to see her father with a genuine smile like that. The crowd thinks Yumi's training broke the record, but what they didn't know was that the truth was something else entirely. The receptionist approaches him, looking completely embarrassed about how she acted before. She hands him a reward for crushing the record, which was something he never expected. He does not even hold a grudge against her for doubting a reckless new hunter. This time Tenma's words actually get under her skin, making her flustered. Meanwhile, Aja teases him, saying not to get cocky just because he is her father's new student. Menyu thinks this level is way too easy for this kid, so it is time to turn it up. He decides the advanced stage is where Tenma really belongs. Keep in mind, levels are not just about how dangerous a monster is. The real threat is their species, because some of these beasts are actually smarter than most regular humans. Intelligent monsters are a nightmare to deal with. In the end, awakeners and these beasts actually function on the exact same logic. Humans have different jobs for power, while monsters rely on their species. Now watch this part closely, because advanced stages are where the really smart monsters like to hide. Tenma's next stop, District 4 of the Northern Stage. He starts to realize that up until now, he has only been fighting trash that lacked the basic intelligence to actually outplay him. Knowing smart monsters can feel pain, Tenma is excited to start torturing his new prey. He releases a terrifying aura, ready to hunt down his next victims. The crowd is losing it, talking about how Jin's 11-year record was just shattered by this underdog. But advanced stages are brutal, and one man completely dominates everything in District 4. Many hunters go missing in these advanced stages. Rumor says there is a secret assassin lurking. Some idiot mentions the name Raji Kaneshita before his friend shuts him up for talking trash. Rai is the son of the ward chief, and this trust fund brat loves being pampered. Every stage in District 4 belongs to him. Newbies, they can wait. Opening the reward chest, Tenma finds a stone similar to the one he saw earlier. Menyu is shocked he found one. These two stones are actually different. This one is green, an intermediate quality stone that leaves a Gaia totally stunned. You and I are finally about to learn what a karma stone really is. Killing monsters or hunters creates karma, which is basically like gaining experience points to level up. This stone already contains that power, and absorbing it gives the user a massive boost to their level. The weirdest part? A karma stone naturally forming inside the stage like this. Master Menyu believes it must be happening because of Tenma's special gift. Usually, the karma of the defeated is absorbed directly by the person who won. But since Tenma didn't level up after 2 kills, it proves he couldn't absorb it. Menyu's theory is that the karma Tenma earned was being stolen by the surrounding hunters instead of going to him. But the stage? With nobody else around, the karma had nowhere to go, so it forcefully turned into a solid stone. A Gaia is worried that he is stuck because he cannot even level up normally. Her father stops her from asking about his skill. That is a secret for now. Menyu suggests selling the stone while he heads off to a massive summit with the world leaders of the 5 continents. His daughter will watch Tenma, but he leaves him with a few final warnings. Keep your status as a disciple a secret, and never tell anyone about your gift. Third, he needs to clear at least 6 advanced stages alone. Finally, Tenma is free to do whatever he wants with his terrifying power. Trust me, you're gonna want to see what he does next. Alright, you and I are about to watch a bunch of awakeners get stepped on by Raji Kaneshita's thugs. They're reserving the spot, and if you're not Raji, you're nobody. The regular awakeners talk big, calling Raji some pampered rich kid who's destined to get reported to the guild eventually. But someone clearly didn't get the memo, and that same loudmouth ends up getting sent flying straight into a wall. A B-rank earth spike lunges at this massive brute, but it does 0 damage. His face turns into literal metal, and the blonde guy can't believe a move meant to pierce monsters can't even scratch this muscle freak. The giant grabs his arms and delivers a brutal headbutt right to his face, knocking him cold. Level 7 and level 8 awakeners? Gone in seconds. They didn't stand a chance against Takeru Oga, one of the 4 strongest men under Raji's influence, and an absolute monster. He's a level 12 metal bender. This guy makes it clear anyone who dares to cross Raji's orders is getting a death sentence. He won't even let anyone take the injured guys away. He's ready to start torturing them, but his friend warns him to chill out since the crowd is watching closely. Suddenly, a shadow blurs across the screen. A body fumbles right into Tenma's arms in the blink of an eye. The crowd already thinks Tenma is a loser who just signed his own death warrant. Now pay attention, because even with the warnings to back off, Tenma knows he has to step up. Takeru is the only wall standing in his way. Ida reports it to the brass. But our boy is doing things his way, remembering his teacher's advice to always follow his own sense of justice. He leaves the wounded with her, leaking an aura so dark it's insane for a level 0. Takeru can't believe this rookie actually has the stones to stand up. But strangely, he feels a heavy pressure. Is this kid actually gifted? Takeru is starting to wonder. Relying on his stats, Takeru assumes he has the advantage here. Then, the shock hits. Our boy moves like lightning, and his punch connects squarely with the big guy's face. The spectators go dead silent. Nobody can comprehend this rookie's insane speed. Luckily, Takeru metalized just in time to avoid the damage. He coats his arms in iron and swings down, laughing off the boy's speed while mocking his pathetic lack of strength. Tenma evades perfectly, realizing he just blew his one shot at a surprise attack on a much stronger foe. His best bet is to push Thunderwave to the limit, all while his secret metallization process runs in the background. The metallization skill is risky, but Tenma knows he can't hold back anymore. It's time to get dead serious. Normal attacks won't work, so he has to aim for Takeru's exposed flesh to do any real damage. He winds up a kick to the face, but Takeru blocks it, talking trash about the weakling's lack of power and speed. But this is actually his strategy. He's baiting his opponent to predict his speed, just to upgrade Thunderwave even further. You and I saw this coming lightning element. Takeru is caught off guard, as Tenma ramps up his speed to god tier levels, raining down a dozen punches that all find their mark. While the analysis runs, the crowd realizes this rookie is a monster who can use multiple high-level skills. With no opening, Takeru can't even metalize. He's just left wondering how a low-rank kid managed to reach these insane levels of speed. With punches raining down, he can't even get a voice command out to call his team for backup. He's in a massive pinch, so he decides to pull out his final trump card. The trump card? Ripping off his shirt to show off that demon back while going into full metallization mode. Now he's just a shiny, iron-coated tank. It's the first time he's ever been cornered enough to use this level of power. Every metallic part gets a massive 50% defense boost, which doubles when he's standing still. Not gonna lie, I think it's safe to say this guy has literal balls of titanium now. Anyway, Takeru is feeling himself after this evolution and plans on giving our rookie an easy death. With defense crossing level 12, the crowd wonders if anyone can even scratch him. But it won't matter soon because Tenma's analysis is finally almost complete. Tenma points out that Takeru dumped everything into defense, completely ignoring his mana stats. Takeru tries to act tough, but deep down he knows the kid just read him like a book. And trust me, we're about to see Tenma end this without even waiting for his mana to drop. Alright, you and I are about to see this fight end in a heartbeat. Watch this blue lotus bloom. The gorgeous flower blossoms and dazzles the crowd, but they have no clue how it will beat a tank like Teru. Tenma has earned the piercing true sphere, a broken ability that completely ignores defense to guarantee massive damage. Now, pay attention here, this is where things get tricky because the move is incredibly slow. Tenma has to time his track perfectly to rip apart the very defense that Teru is so proud of. With the skill live, his stats skyrocket even further as he begins molding the ultimate piercing orb. Even from across the arena, Tenma confidently tells his opponent he better dodge the upcoming attack. The crowd is losing their minds, desperate to see what kind of insane move our hero pulls off next. The orb floats forward at a snail's pace. It looks tiny and harmless, honestly. Nobody expects to get hit by it. It is so small that Teru over here is even willing to stand still, taking it head on, completely underestimating Tenma's trump card. But as it touches his arm, pure horror washes over his face. The orb literally vaporizes his arm in a fountain of blood. And remember, Tenma actually warned this idiot to move. He only aimed for the arm to show mercy. If he wanted to, he could have ended him right there. As Teru screams in agony, Tenma tells the clowns to hurry up and get him to a hospital. They pathetically drag him away while the day is saved. Honestly, for a second I thought I was watching a cartoon. The crowd treats Tenma like a hero. Everyone is suddenly begging to team up and clear stages with him. It gets so intense that people are actually fighting each other just for a chance to stand next to him. But Tenma is focused on his new skill, something powerful enough to drop even the toughest defense monsters like Takeru. This orb has a hidden buff. It gets faster every time it kills an enemy with higher defense than Tenma. Two leaders beg him to join their squads, but he shuts them down, choosing the solo life instead. The crowd immediately turns on him, calling him a fool for trying to solo an advanced stage alone. Wait, watch how fast the crowd's vibe flips on him. Talk about a tough group. They're happy to let him die. With the haters gone, we learn these calamity beasts match Teru's insane defense. This means our boy has to be surgical with his mana usage from here on out. Tenma stays chill, telling her not to sweat it, even though she's terrified of his potential failure. Aside from that, these stone beasts move in packs, but they are still pretty brain dead. So Tenma plans to exploit that for mana. He signs off and steps into the next massive event. He definitely didn't expect to be surrounded by this many massive rock lizards at once. Every single one of them has massive stats, way higher than anything he has ever faced before. A Colossus statue charges him, and Tenma whips out his piercing orb to shatter its high defense shielding. I have to say, these lotus petals look exactly like the shields used by Archer in Fate. The orb makes contact, carving a massive hole straight through the statue and dropping it instantly. This kill gives the orb a 100% speed increase, which is a massive win for Tenma. 3 more statues lunge, but our boy taps into that lightning energy and blitzes right past them. He burns a third of his mana to explode all 3, but 2 more close in from opposite directions. He basically prepares a hollow purple finish using that lethal piercing orb. He baits them into a collision before finding the perfect angle to launch a monstrous attack. The orb flies with lethal speed this time, wiping out both monsters in a single clean shot. Tenma collapses, his mana tank hits 0. He's desperate for a recovery skill to keep up this pace. His progress is insane though, with his orb speed now hitting 5 meters per second. But he completely forgot about the final boss coming down to unleash total destruction. One of the monsters used a gigantification skill, growing into something massive. It's a literal Godzilla-level threat, but Tenma stays alive using his insane lightning speed. He's moving like the Flash, praying this orb can actually pierce something this huge. Trust me, you're going to want to see if this headshot actually lands. Stick around. Stick with me because Tenma thinks that tiny orb won't do much damage from this distance. But then the titanic stone statue strikes back with its own fist. Our boy can't dodge in midair, so he has no choice but to spam black ice just to tank the hit. Still, the impact is brutal, sending this dude flying and crushing him into the nearest wall. This fight is way harder than he expected, but then his system starts auto-analyzing for mimicry, and you can see the satisfaction on his face. The scene cuts to Ri's place, where one of his agents is in total shock. The man is annoyed by the noise, but he also has some urgent news to share. Apparently someone beat Taru and broke into the advanced stages. This news absolutely pisses off the pampered brat. He can't believe Takeru lost at his level. He figures only someone over level 30 could have actually pulled that off. But level 30 awakeners are elite and busy with real missions. They don't waste time playing around with the weaklings. Everyone in this facility is only around level 10. Now watch this, there's just no way Walmart Aizen believes a level 10 warrior beat Takeru. Rai decides to investigate personally. He thinks they can still make it to the location in time if they hurry up. His agent suggests they move with caution, but this guy has a room temperature IQ and completely ignores the warning. Rai is in the mood to humble whoever dared to mess with the Kinoshita family name. Back to our boy, he survived and hit 100% analysis. Shielding in his lotus, the system confirms the gigantification skill is complete. But strangely enough, Tenma didn't actually get a new skill this time. Instead, his piercing orb upgraded to level 2. Now he can adjust the size of the orb, and even double its passive speed increase. Testing both effects at once, Tenma finally activates his newly evolved orb. He manifests an orb that drains every last drop of his mana. This is his most powerful attack yet, and it launches forward like a literal nuclear bomb. He's even out here posing like Gojo after a kill shot, wondering if he went too far at the end. Crushing the stone golem marks another massive step in his progress. His orb speed hits 7 meters per second. If he clears this twice more, he'll end up ramping that power up to the speed of a car. You and I can see those passive effects he ignored are finally proving useful. Lotus Burst is allowing for greater utilization of all his skills. This means as long as he can buff that Lotus Burst passive effect, he'll have the power to snipe monsters from thousands of meters away. The advanced stage is cleared in 3 minutes, setting a record and bewildering the other Awakeners. Other Awakeners are losing it. How is this guy still level 0? It literally makes no sense at all. Then there's Tenma, looking like he just stepped out of a fresh shower with 0 injuries. Even Ageha is impressed. She praises him for his quick completion rate, but what they didn't know is that it's all thanks to that piercing orb. Strangely, he notices a butterfly fluttering around her. It's called a jade butterfly. Ageha is actually a Shikigami user, but we're all too distracted by her curves to care about the bug. Don't ask me about the color. He calls the creature beautiful, and starts asking her what kind of jobs regular awakeners like them usually have. She's shocked that he doesn't even know the basic knowledge yet. Jobs are divided into 4 categories, and our boy has already witnessed 3 of them so far. The first kind is the elementalist, covering a wide range of different elemental powers. These are the most common awakeners with the highest combat power, like that heavy kid from his class and even Takeru. The second type is a Shikigami user. That's right, we're doing it the Megami way, Jujutsu Kaisen style. Shikigami stay with their master from the moment of birth, which is exactly why she has one of her own. With two types clarified, she waits for his questions. He's shocked that her butterfly is a higher level than her, questioning her veteran status. Our boy just destroyed this poor girl's ego without even trying to sugarcoat his words. Ajiha corrects him, explaining that a Shikigami will always be at a higher level than their master. But in a real fight, Tenma's brain figures it's best to just target the master instead. She's terrified when she feels a hint of negative aura coming from him. Anyway, he waits for the rest. The third type is a mysterious job with very little information available on it. This is the one our boy has the type called Order Breaker. And trust me, you and I are about to see just how different these abilities can really be. Let's dive into the story of Tenma, an elite awakener who makes Naruto and his shadow clones look like child's play. In this world, skills rank from C to S, but Order Breakers are special and sit in a unique Z category. Society treats this specific class with absolute respect because their powers are strictly one of a kind. But there is a catch. Once an enemy figures out your ability, your biggest advantage vanishes. That is exactly why the girl's father warned her against digging into our main character's secrets. Tenma is an outlier even among outliers, and she has finally confirmed the truth herself. He used 3 different skills, including elementalist powers, and she is starting to get annoyed that she cannot stop talking about him. So he decides to ask about the mysterious 4th job class he has not seen yet. She refuses to say a word, calling it his punishment for being so secretive with his own power. Before she leaves, she asks what is next, and Tenma plans to spam the same high-level dungeon. She reminds him that stages have cooldowns, meaning he is locked out for at least 2 days. This cooldown is a massive hindrance he completely overlooked, which is exactly why Rai keeps that specific information to himself. Since he cannot upgrade his piercing orb, he decides to level up his Lotus Burst skill instead. Now pay attention, because he is about to pick the most dangerous swarm stage available. Walmart. The girl remembers a specific level full of low-tier beasts, but there are thousands of them. It is a swarm of at least 100 giant locusts. Without area of effect skills, you are dead. She warns him to stay away, having no idea he already has the explosive Lotus Burst. He ignores every warning while the others watch in total shock as he heads for the swarm. Everyone is already shaking, knowing Ragi is coming for revenge soon, and they want to escape immediately. Speaking of that scumbag, Ragi finally arrives, only to find out his target has already vanished. He cannot believe someone cleared the entire stage in such a ridiculously short amount of time. Ragi is absolutely fuming, convinced this mysterious stranger is intentionally messing with him. He orders his men to track the mana signature and contact a hunter named Charles the Hound. He wants Tenma alive just so he can personally torture him. This guy really thinks he is tough. Somewhere else, a poor awakener is fighting for his life, hunted by Ragi's subordinate, the Hound. Even after using an escape technique, he is found by a massive beast that rips into him while another agent comes to retrieve the body. I know what you are thinking. Is he still alive? Somehow yes, and he is terrified. The hunter's pet dog has an incredible sense of smell, making it impossible for anyone to hide. This man is Charles the Hound, and he has come to finish the job for Ragi. The victim begs for his life, but Charles lets his wolf eat the poor man's flesh. After the kill, they finally level up. Charles calls to report his success but is shocked to hear about the injuries Tiru sustained. Realizing the situation is serious, he heads straight for Ragi's location. Excited for a new hunt, Tenma enters the stage, wondering why there are so many locusts. His companion explains that monsters prefer certain specific environments. That is why being an expert on terrain is a vital skill for any real awakener. Advanced stages do not even have receptionists because they are so lethal. Tenma wonders why this level 13 area is totally shut down. The good thing about normal stages is that you can just leave if things get too difficult. But with these locusts, escape is impossible. One small mistake, and the swarm will rip you apart. Awakeners are literally eaten alive. It is brutal, only their bones remain. But this does not scare our boy. He sees it as a playground for easy hunting. The girl thinks he is a total idiot, but Tenma confidently steps into the stage. She worries if she told him enough, then realizes she forgot one terrifying key detail. The locusts will spawn infinitely until he manages to kill the final boss. She wants to rush in and warn him, but then she feels a dark presence. And that is where we leave it. Trust me, you are going to want to see what happens next. Alright, you and I are about to watch one absolute madman treat a boss level like a personal playground. These bugs are barely level 1, but the sheer numbers? That is where the real profit is. With hundreds swarming the sky, Tenma ignites his Lotus Burst while layering on heavy black ice armor. His plan is simple: let them surround him. Then, right when they feel safe, he triggers the trap. Tenma timing is flawless. He activates Lotus Burst and instantly vaporizes the entire swarm. They are nothing but scorched earth now. And his Lotus Burst technique just evolved to level 2. Tenma range hits 10 meters, which is exactly double his previous power. Since they are weak, they are basically free points that consume 0 mana. 10 more shots with 100 kills each would mean a massive 1000% upgrade to his skills. But then he realizes the stage has its own cooldown. His moment of joy, over in a heartbeat. Tenma checks his equipment, confused as to why the stage clear screen has not popped up yet. Instead, his analysis triggers on a boss skill called Matriarch Will. This changed everything. Now look closely, this is where the rules of the game completely change for our hero. He backs off to create some distance. He realized he let his guard down for just 1 second. Evolving his skills is great, but the real problem is that the boss is nowhere to be seen. His best bet? Keep slaughtering the swarm until the queen is forced to reveal herself. He triggers Lotus Burst again. Another explosion, another mountain of dead bugs. His range jumps to 16 meters, but still, the boss refuses to show her face. Something is wrong. Those same locusts just keep respawning. It is a never-ending cycle that refuses to stay dead. The pressure is on. Tenma only has enough mana left for 9 more detonations. He reaches out a third time, promising to annihilate every single one of them again. Another massive blast massacres the entire swarm instantly. Tenma keeps the pressure on, detonating blast after blast until his radius reaches 54 meters. He is down to his final shot, but the bugs, they just keep coming back. The swarm rises again, and panic finally starts to set in. He is almost out of mana and the boss is hidden. He could easily escape the stage, but this man is way too prideful to run away now. He declares one final massacre. The final Lotus Burst is the largest one yet, pushing his body to the absolute limit. But the bugs just rise again. Worse yet, his analysis is still not finished. You saw that too, right? Our guy finally realized he was dealing with infinite breeding. The only way out is killing the queen, but how can he do that with 0 mana? Suddenly, his analysis hits 100%. A Lotus domain expands, adapting perfectly to the queen. Tenma gains a new detection skill. It is basically a cheat code passive. It is so broken that he could just stay here forever and farm these bugs for infinity. But Agia is waiting for him, so it is time to wrap this up. He sharpens his senses, mapping out the entire area to find his target. His radar picks up a signal. The queen is hiding underground. That is all he needed. He charges up a massive purple orb and releases it to end this. The energy pierces deep into the earth, forcing the queen out of her hiding spot. Tenma delivers a brutal slashing strike, ending her life instantly. Without a queen, the swarm falls into chaos. He does not care. He is more than happy to send them all to hell together. One final explosion wipes the locusts for good, boosting his range to 65 meters. This stage gave him epic level gains. He plans on coming back later to evolve his power even further. After setting a 17-minute record, he exits the stage, hoping Agia has not ditched him yet. He actually likes her awkward side, but instead, he finds her covered in cuts and being choked out by Charles. Seeing Tenma alive is all the proof the hound needs. This is definitely the guy his master is looking for. Furious, Tenma warns the man to take his hands off her right now, or he will end his life on the spot. Charles laughs at the rookie, but in that exact moment, our boy appears right in his face with a look of death. Charles panics and summons his wolf Shikigami. Trust me, you and I need to see what happens next. Alright, you and I are about to see a rookie take on a beast that just will not die. Tenma realizes it is a Shikami. While Charles tries to read the room, the monster in front of him moves with insane, high-speed precision. Now it is obvious how Tiru lost, but Charles has a dirty trick, a helpless hostage girl, to use as leverage. Tenma panics for her safety, and that split-second distraction lets the Shikami lunge right for his face. The worst part is this monster's bite force can shatter even the toughest high-defense armor in an instant. But Charles is stunned when black ice spikes suddenly erupt from the man's arm as a shield. Tenma does not stop there. He charges a lethal kill shot, and a piercing sphere obliterates the creature on the spot. With the beast down, his eyes lock onto Charles. This should be an easy cleanup, right? But wait, here is the danger. Our rookie does not know that these Shikami users have a nasty respawn trick. The creature has a B-rank skill called Respawn Desire, bringing it back to life almost instantly. It strikes while Tenma is looking away, but his monosense skill already saw this coming a mile away. Tenma counters easily, stopping the monster once again. His analysis is almost done, but if the Lotus appears, Charles might figure out how his powers actually work. Charles is officially losing it. He cannot handle someone with this much speed, power, and broken hacks. His only leverage is the hostage girl, so he chokes her out while threatening to kill her right in front of Tenma's eyes. Our guy wanted to finish the scan without spawning the Lotus. But things are shifting in a different direction. The scan finishes, granting him a unique counter skill called Shikami Eater. Now he can control any Shikami with just one touch. It is a perfect counter, but since he blocked the Lotus effect, he does not get any of that sweet auto-recovery. That is the price for cutting corners, but he is currently unscathed, so it does not even matter. Time for a test drive. As the monster approaches, he activates the essence of his new Shikami Eater spell. You saw that too, right? He just slaps the monster's head, hijacks its brain and kicks it away. Charles watches his pet get wrecked again, and starts calling the poor thing a useless, pathetic mutt. He threatens the girl again, but at this point, she is completely checked out, and does not even care. To save her, Tenma puts his hands up like he is surrendering. Charles thinks the kid is finally being obedient. But Tenma is still confused. He has no idea why these guys are even coming after him. Charles thinks he is just playing dumb, especially after everything the kid has already done to them. He finally spills the tea on his mission, revealing that Ray is furious since a mysterious awakener stole his advanced stages. Hearing that name again really annoys Tenma. He thinks he and Ray need to have a very private conversation. Charles promises they'll meet soon, right after his pet dog tears the rookie's legs off for good. He warns Tenma that if he sees any ice defense, he will snap the girl's neck. He orders the beast to torture its prey, but the tables turn when the creature bites its own master. Tenma moves like lightning to secure the hostage while the hunter fails to comprehend why the monster is attacking him. While Tenma praises his new pet, he is not done getting revenge for what this creep did to the girl. Now the hunter is the one begging for his life, even offering to betray Ray to save his own skin. Tenma just scoffs at the pathetic offer, while a psychotic Charles tries one last, desperate assassination attempt. The blade barely grazes Tenma's side, as he gives his new pet the signal to end Charles for good. It is a brutal scene that reminds me of that iconic moment from Game of Thrones involving Ramsay Bolton's pathetic ending. The Shikami looms over its meal while the once ruthless hunter whines like a scared little animal. The jaws snap shut, ending Charles's life, and finally giving Tenma the satisfaction he was looking for. But wait, he senses someone else watching from the shadows, and demands they show their face right now. The spy is caught, but Tenma is still in a bloodlust mode. He immediately asks if this guy is another one of Charles's secret allies. The guy panics, swearing he is not involved, while Tenma just tells his beast to finish its meal in return. You and I just saw a monster eat its own master, and trust me, this story is only getting crazier. Alright, stick with me. You and I are about to watch Tenma finally get the recognition he deserves. Iberia is seriously impressed by those insane combat moves. He knows Tenma is the beast who crushed Takaru, so he offers a massive deal. Karma stones and top-tier weapons just for a bit of help. But our boy doesn't care. He shuts down every offer and just walks away. No other awakener would turn down that kind of loot. But Tenma knows that the right reward has to match the urgency of the moment. It is like giving a sword to an avenger or medicine to the wounded. That is when Iberia realizes he has the one thing Tenma actually needs right now. He sees that Tenma is stuck, Agaya is badly hurt, and she will never make it to a hospital in time at this rate. She will bleed out and die. To save her, Iberia pulls out a mystical healing scroll. This finally makes Tenma stop dead in his tracks. He turns around, and for once we see genuine relief on his face for his friend. This scroll is her only hope. They quickly set her down and wrap the magical material around her body to stabilize her. It is a rare artifact, forged from the mystical essence of both the Shadow and Wood Spirit clans. Since Tenma is a rookie, Iberia explains the basics. Modern human weapons like guns are basically useless against these monsters of destruction. But crafters are special. They can forge powerful new gear using monoliths or parts harvested directly from disaster beasts. We call these items artifacts. They are ranked in 4 tiers: common, rare, epic, and finally, the unique class. Common artifacts are just your basic everyday gear. They can hurt minor beasts and low-level awakeners, like a standard sword. Rare and epic artifacts like the Aqua Blade or this insane red blood sword provide massive stat boosts. Now pay attention, because power levels are about to get crazy. Finally, sitting at the absolute top of the food chain is the unique class. These possess legendary skills like the Holy Sword. Crafters might not be fighters, but they are incredibly rare and valuable. Every awakener owes them their lives. Tenma quickly realizes that Iberia's father must be one of these legendary crafters. He is not just any crafter though. Across the 5 continents, only 10 unique artifacts have ever been created. And get this, Iberia's dad made 3 of them, earning him the title of the Artisan King of the North. So we have got a budget Jon Snow in the mix now? But Tenma does not care, and focuses on his own interest. He checks the crossbow he took from Charles. Turns out, it is an artifact too. Iberia is shocked. He just told an epic story, and this guy could not care less about his famous father. The crossbow is a rare artifact, but it has no ammo. Iberia explains that some special weapons actually generate their own bolts. Suddenly, the weapon vanishes into thin air. This happens when artifacts are soul-bound to their owners, allowing them to return to a subspace dimension automatically. Tenma thinks that is pretty cool. He actually thanks Iberia for saving Aegea's life with that scroll. He owes Iberia a favor now, but his main focus is still on hunting down Rai and finishing things personally. Iberia thinks it is suicide. Challenging someone like Rai all alone is a seriously reckless move. Tenma is not in the mood to debate. Luckily, you and I can see that both these guys are chasing the same target. Rai might not have angered him directly, but Iberia suggests they team up for the upcoming Savior Alliance tournament qualifiers. Tenma remembers that tournament. Only the top 10 candidates make it to the main event. That is exactly why Tenma has been grinding advanced stages like a madman. Still, he does not see how this helps them take down their target. Iberia explains that qualifiers are split by continent. As the chief's son, Rai is expected to compete here. Rai and his brother must compete. If they fail to reach the top 10, the Kinoshita family name will be absolute trash to everyone. That is why he is seizing control of all the stages to give himself every possible advantage. Tenma is suspicious. Why is this blonde awakener helping him so much? Iberia admits he truly admires Tenma. His instincts tell him that they are both going to pass. Tenma still feels like something is missing. He senses a deeper motive behind Iberia's rush to join the tournament. Iberia grew up watching his father forge legendary gear. He has looked up to him since he was a child. His dream was to become an awakener and fight monsters using the powerful tools his father created. But even after awakening, his father refused to help. He told Iberia he was unworthy of his master crafts. Trust me, you and I are about to see if he can finally prove his worth and earn that legendary weapon. Alright, let's dive into why this guy is so desperate to clear these qualifiers. Tenma realizes this rich kid probably has a line of experts dying to team up with him. So it makes zero sense why he would choose a level 0 nobody like Tenma. Turns out his father set a rule: if he gets carried by someone strong, he gets nothing. Basically, he has got the ultimate strict dad, high expectations, and absolutely no shortcuts allowed. Plus, the strong fighters are all bought out, leaving only loners. Tenma is his last hope. This is the same guy who crushed Takaru and just took down Charles. Finally, Tenma agrees to the team, but his first priority is getting Aha to a hospital. Iberia is so hyped that he starts yapping about 100 different team name ideas. He is a loyal friend, but the guy just will not shut up. Tenma wonders if his old school friends are entering too, while Rimu suddenly sneezes somewhere else. He figures Tenma must be thinking of him, but the name just makes Sia worried. She hopes he is doing okay. Then, Remu starts teasing her about her obvious feelings. She blasts him with water, arguing that in a real fight, there is no such thing as a cheap shot. Their master, a cold cyborg, watches from the shadows, ready to push them to their limits. Seiya has already hit level 11, while Rimu is still trailing at level 10. These two elementalists are itching to test their skills against other powerful awakeners very soon. Now pay attention, Ray is starting to get seriously irritated that his men have not reported back. It absolutely pisses him off that his team is so useless. He does not care about search parties. He just needs to pass before his dad kills him. This guy has already bribed nearly 800 contestants to play along with his schemes. They are all level 5 or higher. Ragi uses his last stone to boost his stats. Now at level 12 he thinks he is the king while wielding his lightning powers. Back with our hero, Tenma apologizes to his master for failing to save Gaia earlier. The northern commander considers ending Ray right now, but Tenma begs him to hold back. Mendu agrees for now, but he definitely wants the full story once things calm down. Iberia is losing his mind seeing the legendary northern commander acting so friendly with Tenma. Tenma announces his plan to enter the tournament, and the commander fully supports his choice. Aha is recovering thanks to her butterfly, and a rare artifact Iberia used to save her. Mendu recognizes the boy as the craftsman's son, and his expectations immediately skyrocket. Iberia tries to act cool to honor his father, but he completely messes up his introduction. You and I heard that right. This clown totally butchered his own cool moment, leaving everyone standing there in pure silence. Cringe aside, Mendu is grateful for the help and promises to visit Iberia's father later. With the qualifiers starting soon, he tells them both to train harder than ever before. Both boys are ready to win, though Agia is stunned by her father's interest in Tenma. Tenma carries massive childhood trauma, which makes him a total monster against his enemies. But that darkness fades when he is around the people he actually cares about. That is why Mendu wants his daughter near him to give Tenma something worth protecting. Remember that skeleton soldier from the school? Turns out that attack was no accident. Traitors are everywhere now, and even the other commanders are being targeted by these shadows. Mendu is convinced that humanity is sprinting toward a brutal end. But Tenma is the hope that might close the gap. Finally, the big tournament begins. Tenma never expected this many fighters, but the commander's presence changed the game entirely. Mendu's presence alone dragged in 5,000 fighters, and trust me, you and I are about to witness an absolute war. Let's dive into a world where power is everything. He already marked his pawns with red bands to keep track of them. Saya and Rimu think it looks sketchy. Fujiwara starts the briefing. The entire arena is split into two massive zones. We have an outer ring and an inner arena. Everything starts at the 4 towers. Fighters have to claw their way into the center ring. Entering the center locks their official rank onto their bracelets. Only 500 make the cut. Saya smells a total bloodbath. 2 weapons each. Anything goes in this fight. Iberia points out the coward hiding behind his paid bodyguards. He knows this clown bought his way into the inner circle. Tenma ignores the warnings and confronts the red-haired examiner. Stage 1 begins. Fujiwara wants talent, but he's not expecting much. Now pay attention, this is where the real power gets revealed. Back then, he and Jin were the only ones who crushed everyone. Heen hopes for one fighter who can actually dazzle. Geniuses are rare, so expectations are at rock bottom. Heen remembers the legend of a boy slaying a level 8 beast right after awakening. The commander confirms it. Is that same kid in this tournament? Fujiwara is curious, so he starts scanning the student list. Remu and Saya are out. That leaves wood specialist Hana Hanu. She looks like a pro, but Menu knows she isn't it. Heen asks if there are any level 0s around here. One always joins just to get crushed. Speaking of zeros, Rage mocks the rookie who wrecked his guards. Then he pulls out a crossbow, and his face drops. Tenma knows the deal. Angry, Ray sends his goons in. Rai bolts, leaving Tenma trapped by high-level killers. Heen can't believe a level 0 is about to take on multiple level 7s. Iberia hates this. They are about to get totally overwhelmed. He has a secret weapon. A goon laughs, but Tenma just says move. You and I know he is about to regret laughing. He thinks our boy is just a loudmouth kid with 0 skill. Heen likes his guts. He'll step in if things get messy. The goon steps up and gets flattened by one punch. Heen is stunned. How did he one-shot a superior fighter? They try to burn him while Iberia watches helplessly. That firestorm was massive. The rookie is done for. 0 scratches. His defense is unreal. With every block, his black ice stats skyrocket. Shocked, the goon unleashes a B-rank flamethrower. He doesn't move. He just tanks the entire blast. The mage is drained. He thinks Tenma is dead. Tenma stands there completely unscathed, hidden behind a black ice gauntlet. They're in trouble. Not a single hit landed. Fireballs do nothing. Now they try to drain him. Tenma blitzes forward in a blur, smashing another fighter into the ground instantly. Stick around because these lightning warriors are trapped. Tenma warns them that there is absolutely no escape now. You and I are about to watch these idiots make a massive mistake. Heen can't believe his eyes as a level 0 main character massacres an entire team. Iberia praises his partner for being absolutely legendary. No one believes he's level 0, but Iberia tells the arena that they'll be the greatest duo this tournament has ever seen. Ri is heading out thinking about the crossbow when an awakener passes him, only to get fried like a dog. Rai reminds this dog of his place. Nobody is allowed to pass him. He rounds up his lackeys and orders the group to stick together. The examiners watch the young master of the Kinoshita family put his arrogance on full display. Since no rules were broken, they can't stop him while Rai stays fully confident in his victory. Suddenly, someone calls out to him. It's the same dynamic duo from before, ready for more action. Tenma survived the team attack, leaving everyone wondering how on earth he actually pulled that off. He calls our boy level 0 trash, but Tenma doesn't care. Raggy knows he can't win head-on, so he sends 100 warriors to keep them busy. Now watch this. Tenma covers Iberia's ears and explodes forward with lightning speed, slamming Raggy into the dirt. This is his way of saying it's time to settle the score, and he won't let his prey escape. Saya and Remu struggle but finally make it to the inner circle. Hanu dominates the top spot, with Agami and Wee trailing in 2nd and 3rd place. Hanu is clearly out of their league, but Iberia manages to climb up to 6th place. The man of the hour stays on the field, choosing to farm 100 enemies instead of just finishing. Even the examiners can't figure out what this guy's real deal is. Heen starts wondering if this man might actually destroy every single one of them. Raggy considers our main character a pest who has become an eyesore he can't ignore, but with 100 men against 1, the odds are clearly not in his favor. His only priority is avenging Aga. The tournament be damned. The army of awakeners charges him, but then, our boy doesn't even flinch. He takes down the first attacker, one-shotting him instantly. The rest of them are finally starting to doubt that level 0 status. You saw that too, right? Tenma activates Lotus Burst to send the battlefield into oblivion while the world watches his godlike skills, even those who finish the zone. The examiner is stunned by the blast radius while Aga is impressed by how much he's evolved. But the only thing on his mind right now is the punk who started this beef. He just wiped out 100 people instantly. Now only Ragi is left standing. Tenma walks up as this guy still has the audacity to think he can win just by screaming. He unleashes his ultimate move, the Thunder Cannon. Tenma starts his analysis and punches this man to the ground, reducing him to a lowly bug. Ragi begs his assistant to save him, who breaks the rules and enters the arena. He's a level 35 Awakener, so Heighten decides it's time to take him out for cheating. Tenma can feel someone approaching fast, but what they didn't know was that it's more than one person. The agent almost has him, but Heighten smashes him down, telling Tenma to finish what he started. Tenma looks down at the dog begging for his life, but before he can finish his story, our boy crushes his head, finally getting revenge for Aga. He pauses his analysis to save it for later, but a strange voice catches his attention. Seiya and his friends welcome him inside the zone. She's completely obsessed after watching that massacre, and that's how he secured 7th place in the inner zone. Iberia and Rimu are having some serious bro beef over who gets to be Tenma's best friend. They just keep yapping at each other, trying to bait a reaction. The examiner ends stage 1 and explains they'll be fighting monsters for 1 hour straight in the next round. This is the exciting part, as 7 elite contestants arrive at the venue for their next challenge. Everyone is curious, and Seiya and Rimu want to know everything about our boy's hidden abilities. The examiners tell the candidates to get ready while the big famous names watch from nearby. The test is about hunting beasts for points. Every time you kill a monster, there's a 1-minute cooldown. This changed everything for their strategy. This makes Gakui want to hunt the highest level monsters immediately. And trust me, you and I need to see this. Tenma asks if Nightmare class is truly the hardest. Alright, you and I are about to dive into a world where most people think our main character is weak, but they're about to witness something truly legendary. These monsters are all unique, so trying to predict their moves is a total waste of time. Every move today determines if they'll become top-tier saviors, so the pressure to score high is massive. With Giant's score of 115,000 in his sights, Tenma steps onto the trial grounds. The ultimate test has finally begun. These first monsters? Pure fodder. Tenma triggers his ice skills to clear the floor and reach the real stages of difficulty. Heen is the only one who is actually hyped to see what he can do. He watches the kid erase a whole pack of dogs in 1 second. No wonder Hatton is starting to like him. But Fujiwara is convinced the level 8 monster coming up is going to give Tenma some real trouble. Struggling at this rank is normal, but Menu wants to keep the heat off his star student right now. He asks about the others, but honestly, Hanu is the only one even playing in the same league as Tenma. Tenma walks straight through the flames like he always does, coming out the other side without a single scratch on him. He ends it with 1 slash, 5 seconds, 500 points, just like that the fight is over. Heen wonders why he's taking his time, but Tenma is just tanking every hit to grind those defense stats as high as they'll go. Next up is an electric rhino worth 1,000 points. One single touch from this thing, and you're instantly paralyzed. Most fighters rely on speed here, but Tenma just casually walks right up to the beast. He's literally checking out the monster's horn. The rhino slams him back, but the guy feels absolutely nothing. He's putting on a total show. Enduring that hit actually boosted his personal stats again. Tenma lunges in and deletes the massive creature in 7 seconds flat. Too easy. Now pay attention, because this next beast is on a whole different level of terrifying with absurd attack and defense. This is considered one of the most vicious disaster beasts the preliminaries have ever seen. Enter the Nightmare class Purgatory Giant. All that glazing means nothing when Tenma one-shots it with his orb and strikes a nonchalant pose like it was a joke. He's bored of these toys and wants another nightmare. Meanwhile, Sai Hisagi is busy using her power to pierce a monster straight through the mouth. She's aiming to wipe out the remaining 2 so she can finally move up to the normal class rank. As she gears up, her system confirms she's almost done with clearing the beginner class trials. Elsewhere, Gaku is feeling cocky, sure he'll be the first to reach the normal class. While Hanahanu takes a mana break, a sudden announcement blares across the entire system. I know what you're thinking, someone ranked 21st just cleared the Nightmare class in record time, leaving everyone shaken. Saya knows immediately, there's only one person capable of that, Tenma. The examiners are in shock. He managed to instantly kill a level 15 Purgatory Giant, something that should have been impossible for any normal student. The examiners decide to crank up the difficulty even more, while Tenma is just standing there, feeling totally underwhelmed by his new stats. He had been expecting something extraordinary, but he only got a few measly points for all that work. Not satisfied yet, he targets the next monster. With just one hit, his sphere pierces right through the target. Now the judges are left wondering if his power even has a limit. He notices that his strength is almost entirely off the charts right now. But there's a catch. A major flaw. Suddenly, a beast appears with speed faster than anything Tenma has ever faced. Heen explains that while these giants look slow because of their size, they're actually incredibly fast in reality. Since their race has 0 mana, all those points go straight into their physical stats, making them absolute beasts. The creature dodges every single shot Tenma throws, it's just too fast for him to lock onto. And that's when the flaw finally becomes clear. Those black spheres hit like a truck, but their travel speed is too slow for these high-level monsters. Tenma's got high battle intelligence though. He waits for the Purgatory Giant to scream, using that small opening to finally launch his deadly attack. But Heen knows that if our boy cannot increase the speed of that black sphere, he simply won't be able to advance any further in this trial. On the battlefield, our boy begins to sweat as the fight drags on. The monster is easily dancing around every attack he launches from a distance. So yeah, you and I are left wondering if Tenma doesn't find a countermeasure soon. Is this where his journey ends? You and I are about to watch Tenma prove them wrong with one terrifying confident smile. He finally cracked the code predicting the monster's path instead of just reacting. Now, both warriors lunge forward for the kill. The beast swings its massive fist, slamming into the ground and shattering the entire arena. Instantly, staff members call for rescue, certain that an electric rhino strike means certain death. But then, everyone realizes the monster missed. The beast looks around, completely unable to find its target. From the shadows, Tenma strikes with his black sphere, literally blowing the monster's face apart. The entire battle is over in just 12 seconds. Aha is in total shock that Tenma could destroy a giant so decisively. When the others look her way, they see a rare sight, pure, unfiltered worry on her face. She tries to brush it off, claiming she was simply praying for everyone and would do it for anyone else. Her desperate explanations only make the others think she's suddenly turned into some weird extrovert. The old master turns his attention back toward Hyen. The master wonders why Tenma was dodging instead of tanking, but Heen explains that the boy's speed actually rivals that of a Purgatory Giant. Once the electricity begins surging through his veins, his speed spikes, and with that skill active, a Purgatory Giant cannot even touch him. Thrilled, the old master declares Tenma deserves first place, but our boy has no plans to stop. He wants to surpass the legendary Jin Taiwa, and resting now would only mean losing his edge. Without missing a beat, Tenma keeps hunting monsters one after another. The old master remembers that even he only managed to reach Phase 4 in one go. Heen clarifies that the old master reached Phase 4, but couldn't go an inch further. Even so, they recall that Hyten hit his wall at Phase 3. With that in mind, they watch as Tenma continues his relentless assault. Tenma cooks up a strategy for the second monster, and his plan works flawlessly. For the third beast, however, he switches things up for something entirely different. Stick with me, he actually lets the monster swallow him whole just to rip it apart from the inside, clearing the giants in 13 seconds. Fujihara is stunned, witnessing the power that wiped out so many others in Stage 1. His mana is drained, but as long as beasts spawn, his mana sense skill refills the tank. Just like that, Nightmare Class Phase 4 begins. 4 Purgatory Giants now surround our hero. His mana recovers 40%. If Tenma clears this, he finally shatters Hyten's old record. Since only Jintewa has cleared it, Heen is dying to see where Tenma's limit lies. As the speed of his sphere skill increases, his accuracy becomes even more deadly. If he boosts the speed just a few more times, he can snipe enemies from distance. However, with his mana running low, Tenma needs to make every single shot count. Now watch this, the giant suddenly throws out chains, locking our hero in place. The beast slams the ground and grabs Tenma. He's trapped with 0 leverage to escape. Making things worse, the giant crushes his bones and throws his broken body onto the dirt. Seeing him bleeding and broken, Fujihara begs the master to step in and save him. Heen is genuinely stunned, wondering if this is the limit of Tenma's power, but Izumi blocks his path and tells him to wait, because the boy is not done fighting yet. Everyone argues there is no time to talk. If they do not act now, Tenma will die. However, Izumi stands firm. Uzumi believes the boy still has an ace up his sleeve. When asked how he knows, he points to Tenma's eyes. Those are not the eyes of a man who has accepted death. Our protagonist stands back up before the giant, refusing to let his journey end here in the dirt. Back when he fought Raji, Tenma paused his analysis just before it finished, saving that trump card for a desperate moment exactly like this one. The analysis completes instantly. Suddenly, the old master cheers at the sight of the blue lotus. As the others wonder what a lotus can do in this state, Tenma's incredible Thunderwave skill finally kicks into high gear. It absorbs all lower-level lightning attacks, pulling that raw energy directly into his body. And that's where we leave it. With his health restored and speed doubled, Tenma is finally done playing around. You and I are about to see a monster reborn, as our hero heals faster than a top-tier healer. Fujihara can't believe this fighter has so many broken skills. Tenma shreds through the purgatory giants in 31 seconds flat, clearing phase 4 instantly. No matter how many monsters they throw his way, he knows he won't lose this fight. Suddenly, a giant drops from above, but Tenma blasts it into dust before it can even land. His flight speed hits 2700% as he turns the entire arena into a graveyard. Phase 5 falls in under a minute, and phase 6 is done 90 seconds later. Now watch the crowd. Their jaws are on the floor as Tenma wrecks everything. Is the real monster the giants, or is it him? Stick with me, because this gets even wilder. Our hero just sits there, waiting for more giants that never actually show up. A stunned Fujihara jumps on the mic to announce they've officially run out of monsters to give him. Tenma is genuinely confused. He had no idea this testing ground even had a difficulty cap. After losing count of the bodies, he realizes he can't level up, so the experience from those disaster beasts is dropping as karma stones instead. Fujihara spots a blue karma stone in the dirt, and knows it holds at least 10,000 experience points in its core. Izumi explains that since her student can't absorb XP, it physically manifests into these powerful stones. Right then, Tenma steps out, and Fujihara is all over him, praising his insane potential. He immediately tries to recruit him, promising the best instructor money can buy. Our hero politely declines because he already has a master teaching him. Fujihara won't back down, claiming some random teacher can't possibly handle a god-tier talent like his. He argues only someone with elite connections can truly help him, until Heaton steps in and tells the old man to stop pestering the kid before he starts hating him. The old man begs Heaton to help convince him, worried that his legendary talent will be totally wasted. But then, Tenma thanks Heen and Fujihara freezes when he realizes Heaton was the one training him all along. The old man is speechless. If she's the master, then this kid's power finally makes sense. Izumi checks her student for wounds, but his desire to keep fighting tells her he's perfectly fine. You and I know he's a beast, but even he has limits. He's not hurt, just totally drained of stamina, though a quick break is all he needs to get back into the action. Fujihara finally sees the scale of his power. Meanwhile, Izumi's other students crush their stage 2. Tenma asks if Taiwa hit phase 6, but back then, the difficulty cap was only at phase 4 max. When that failed, they bumped the challenge up to 8 levels, but Tenma reached phase 6 instantly. Now, they're heading out to watch the other participants struggle. Over with the others, Remy is hitting her limit. This nightmare class is just too much to handle. Sei gives it her all, trapping the monsters in a massive sphere of crushing water. But with her mana dry, she realizes the next level is impossible, and calls it quits. Our hero is actually disappointed they're out already, though Fujihara reminds him most people can't even touch this level. After seeing them take down that electric rhino, he's sure they'll still land in the top 10. They can't leave yet though. Rules say you stay in the ground unless you're literally on death's door. Meanwhile, the rest of the pack enters the nightmare. Hatton is betting that Gaku can kill at least one giant using that rare artifact of his. Then there's Shion. For a Shikami user, making it this far shows real dedication. She transforms into a massive beast and lands a world-shaking punch on the giant. Tenma is amazed by the transformation and wonders if Aga's jade butterfly can pull off a trick like that. Aga admits she's never seen anything like it before, and this kind of power is new to her. Shikami abilities are a total mystery, so she warns our hero to stay sharp if he ever has to face one in battle. Seeing how strong these spirits are, Tenma decides to pump all his future XP drops into the black dog he stole from Charles. With the others out, Tenma sees no reason to stay, but then Ibra shows up wearing some truly legendary armor. This epic dragon gear was left by his father, and the artifact actually chose him as its master. Ibra went through literal hell to earn it, and now his stats are skyrocketing every single minute. But there's a 15-minute limit before a deadly penalty hits. Can he finish it? You and I are about to find out. Alright, you and I are about to see our main character finally take on the legendary Purgatory Giants. He is pushing past his limits to keep up with Tenma, because these two together, they are an absolute force of nature. Ibra lunges at the giant, shattering its thick armor. Just like that, stage 2 is officially over. Fujihara drops the news, only the top 10 point scorers make it to the national tournament, and the top 2, they are getting massive rewards. Gaku is feeling himself, thinking nobody besides Hanyu can touch his score. He is already dreaming about that special prize. Pay attention here. When the leaderboards go live, the entire room goes dead silent. Our hero is sitting at over 100,000 points. Even the runner-up only managed 60,000. Everyone realizes Tenma isn't just winning, he is dominating the entire nation. Remu is doing the math. Each giant is 5,000 points, so how many of those monsters did Tenma actually slaughter? Ghana is losing his mind. He is stuck in third place behind some random guy he has never even heard of before. Seiya feels the weight of the gap between her and Tenma. She starts questioning if she is even cut out for a combat role. The qualifiers wrap up with Tenma sitting at the top of the national rankings holding a massive 65,000-point lead. Ibra cannot see his father's expression, but he can feel the pride radiating off him. He knows he is happy. He is hyped for Tenma taking first place, but he is also relieved he didn't embarrass the double one name. He held his own. The 21st Savior Alliance qualifiers are finally over. Our hero literally carries his friend out of the arena after that brutal showdown. Over in the South Continent, a fighter is complaining about being up this early just to watch some old man sit and meditate. His friend tells him to shut up. That old man is the legendary commander of the South Continent, and he can literally see the future. Still, the fighter is skeptical. Why do they only get notified after the barriers are already up? It seems a bit late. If Bargar really has prophecies, he should be able to predict exactly where those monoliths are going to drop before it happens. Turns out, Bargar can only see a tiny window into the future. You and I both know accuracy is everything and his is 100%. But suddenly the old man panics and collapses. His followers rush to his side as he screams out a warning. The north is in serious danger. A massive disaster beast is heading north, and this thing is level 100 plus. Meanwhile, Tenma's stats finally smash past 1500 points. Usually 50 points per level means he is around level 30. That is a decent rank for any normal awakener in this world. His agility and defense can climb forever thanks to those passive skills. His mana regens instantly too, but there is one catch: his raw attack power isn't moving. He needs a way to boost his damage, and fast, right then. His friends yell that dinner is ready. He decides to put the power-up grind on hold and worry about getting a new skill later tonight. When they sit down to eat, Tenma notices that Ibra is missing. AA says she patched him up earlier. His wounds are fine, but he was so exhausted he is probably still out cold in bed. Rimu is impressed Ibra cleared the nightmare class they couldn't touch. But then, Saya jumps, seeing something moving in the shadows behind them. She points behind Remu, and a massive, dark figure gives him the fright of his life. It is just Ibra. He lunges for the food like a starving animal. Rimu yells at him for sneaking up and stealing their dinner. Ibra sets the plate down, looking ready for a fight, but he just lets out a huge, satisfied sigh instead. That food was legendary. When he finds out Remu cooked it, Ibra tells him to quit being an awakener. He should just become a chef with skills like that. Suddenly, the conversation takes a turn. They are asked a heavy question. What do they actually fear the most? Remu thinks about it. His whole dream is to save up enough money to travel the globe and eat at every 5-star restaurant. His biggest fear? Getting old. He is terrified that if he gets old, he will lose the energy to travel or worse. His taste buds will die, and he won't enjoy his food anymore. Saya grew up in a family of doctors, living in hospitals her whole life. She saw way too many people suffering from horrible diseases. That trauma runs deep. Now, even seeing someone with a common cold is enough to send her into a total state of panic. Tenma finally puts it together. That is why she bolted when he sneezed the other day. Yumi reminds them that awakeners live twice as long and almost never get sick. She tells them they can finally let those old fears go. Ibra's fear was failing the qualifiers, but now that he is through, he is terrified of falling behind and not being able to fight beside Tenma. After opening up, he turns the tables and demands Tenma tell them what he is scared of. Nobody thinks the invincible Tenma fears anything, but he reveals that after losing his parents, his only fear was survival. He was drowning in rage and sorrow until his friend saved him. And trust me, you and I are going to see how that bond changes everything. Stick with me, you and I are about to witness a broken boy finally finding a reason to fight. They offered him a hospital and plenty of food to wipe away all of his deep worries. His friends pulled him from the darkness, and meeting Aegea and Iberia finally gave him a real family. Our hero confesses it's been a long time since he felt this relief and wishes it could last. But deep down, the thought of being alone again absolutely terrified him. Aegea gets emotional seeing our hero so gentle and calm, completely different from the chilling vibe he had before. Izumi reveals he was testing them to see if they truly had what it takes to be saviors. He warns that saviors must never regret their path, even when facing true danger in the field. He tells everyone to keep in mind that a death without regret is a savior's ultimate goal. He then orders everyone to rest before Kisaragi and Harino return to the northern district tomorrow morning. Goodbyes are exchanged the next day, and Iberia asks Remu to cook for him again sometime soon. Our hero wonders how they got so close while realizing he has a vital question for Saya later. Now listen closely, this secret update from the South Continent changes everything for them. The intel is restricted to level 50 saviors or commanders, because the danger is off the charts. Izumi tells Aegea to break the news, because he trusts our hero and his friends with his life. She reveals the prophecy: a massive disaster beast attack will hit the northern continent within 3 days. Tenma wonders if the prophecy is reliable. But his friend explains that Bargar is a legendary prophet whose visions are basically the confirmed future. Agia begs Izumi to get out of the northern continent before it is too late. Izumi knows these beasts have a motive for attacking, and he realizes he is likely the main target. He offers to stay as bait, but Agia insists he shouldn't risk staying behind as a non-combatant. She urges him to evacuate to the central continent for the time being. Our hero agrees to fight, but Izumi refuses and tells Tenma to do something else instead. Our hero argues that protecting his teacher is top priority, but Izumi says Iberia's father is the key. Aiden is the greatest crafter alive, and it would be a disaster if anything happened to him. Izumi sends a student to guard Aiden, and adds some powerful awakeners as a backup for the mission. You and I can see it. Is Izumi just trying to keep him safe from the battlefield? Izumi then asks Agia for 3 specific things to prepare. He asks her to announce the attack so level 50 awakeners can safely evacuate the residence. High-level awakeners are told to stay alert and prepare to intercept the disaster beasts at any moment. He plans to intercept the beasts head-on in the North District where civilians will be safe. Agia tells her father that all the arrangements are done and that he will be arriving shortly. As he dismisses her, he notices a trace of hesitation in her expression. It doesn't take long for him to realize she's dying to ask him one important question. Why he sent Tenma to Aiden. Agia can't hide her curiosity, and he sees no reason to hide the truth. He explains that they are expecting beasts with levels that could easily break 100. If Tenma fights them, he would be forced to show every powerful skill he currently possesses. Agia immediately fights back, pointing out the absolute danger in that logic for their friend. By showing his hand, the beasts will learn exactly how to counter him. They would prepare countermeasures and eventually find a way to kill him anyway. Her father notices something else despite Tenma's versatility. He noticeably lacks raw attack power. According to rumors, Aiden possesses an artifact capable of greatly boosting offensive strength. If Tenma gets that artifact, he will fill the gap that's been holding him back from greatness. Tenma would become an awakener who possesses every possible ability, filling the one gap that holds him back. At 8 p.m. on the first day of the prophecy. Trust me, we aren't ready. Monoliths rain down upon the northern continent, bringing total destruction. Stick with me, the nightmare starts right now. Over in the North District, Tenma and Iberia are tearing through the streets, pushing for his father's place while knowing a disaster beast could spawn any second. Suddenly, they spot a massive monolith screaming down from the sky, realizing the nightmare has already landed right in the center of the city. Tenma scans the area, terrified that the evacuation has not finished. If a beast spawns now, it is a total massacre. Panic explodes instantly as citizens start running for their lives, exactly like the elder Bargar feared. Meanwhile, Tenma watches as a massive barrier begins to lock down the area. He is caught between 2 choices that could change everything. Save the civilians from certain death, or stay laser-focused on the main mission? He knows that saving civilians would only slow them down and become a massive hurdle, so he cannot bring himself to ask the exhausted Iberia to help with evacuations. Iberia is clearly running on fumes, but refuses to stop until his father is safe. But then, Iberia surprises him by volunteering to help the people first. They change plans instantly, deciding to wipe out the disaster beast inside the city before doing anything else. Right on cue, a level 21 flame golem erupts in the streets. A few heroes desperately try to hold it back, but their levels are so low, it is basically a suicide mission. Now, pay attention here, because things go south fast as the heroes realize they are outmatched and start running for their lives. Only one water elementalist stays behind, charging straight at the massive golem. Fear is gripping his entire body. He is practically wetting himself, but he refuses to let the monster see him sweat. With sheer grit, he actually drops the beast once, but the golem revives instantly, letting out a roar and a massive wave of flames. Everyone there realizes they are basically cooked. They are about to be turned into grilled chicken, but then Tenma suddenly appears, blocking the incoming inferno like it is nothing. He tells Iberia to get the civilians to safety while he takes this thing solo. The crowd stares at the massive ice wall in shock, asking if they have been saved. Iberia says no, but confidently claims he will eventually surpass the legendary Jintewa. The shaken civilians actually lash out at him, calling him a brat even though he just saved their lives. You and I need to see this. Tenma is standing there completely covered in epic ice armor. They wonder if his body itself is some kind of artifact, while Tenma remembers the warning I gave him about his black sphere. The power is insane, but the casting time is way too long. Against a high-tier disaster beast, that sphere is just too slow to land. If that first shot misses, the enemy will get cautious, making a second hit almost impossible to land. Izumi's advice was clear. Save that black sphere for a moment when you are 100% sure it will end the fight in one single shot. Tenma realizes using the black sphere in this crowd would only draw way too much attention to himself. People are already whispering that he must be some high-level awakener. So he decides to settle this with pure, overwhelming physical force. Activating his thunder wave, he leaps into the air and delivers a crushing kick to the monster's head, smashing it into the dirt. The crowd is stunned. A teenager is literally beating a disaster beast to death. Some think the flame golem must have been injured already, but the civilians who saw the fight know the truth. They cannot believe a level 21 beast could not even touch him. Deeply confused, they watch as Tenma and Iberia immediately flee the scene as soon as the monster is down. The remaining heroes just stand there in silence, unable to process what happened. While running, Tenma thinks back on the struggle against such a low-tier beast. The fact that an instant kill was impossible against a level 21 beast does not bode well for the future. If this is just the beginning, whatever is coming next will be far worse. One thing is clear: he must find a way to raise his power no matter the cost. Stick with me. Tenma knows his speed is useless without raw power, but Iberia has a secret way to boost his attack stats instantly. Iberia mentions his father has a warehouse full of artifacts, and there has to be something in there to boost Tenma's power. Stick with me, you're about to see a Zero become a legend. Since he's strong and Ayumi's student, Dad will definitely give him one. Iberia starts drooling, imagining his friend decked out in gear, and drags him home. Tenma thought he was holding back his insane speed, but seeing his friend gasping for air, even with max agility, makes him realize just how huge the gap is. So our hero just grabs his friend so he doesn't burn out before the battle and goes full throttle. Iberia is literally screaming for his life at this speed, but Tenma tells him to deal with it. After a blur of travel, Iberia finally exhales, relieved he didn't die in transit. Our hero wonders why a master crafter lives in a deep forest when towns are safer, but Iberia says his dad needs absolute silence to concentrate. However, he warns him not to drop his guard because the perimeter is loaded with lethal traps. Tenma picks up the mana traces immediately, while his friend promises he'll be safe if he just follows the lead. Now pay attention here, things are about to go south fast. His friend gets way too cocky and steps right on a trigger. He panics because this trap, it's the absolute worst. The mana surges, and suddenly, a massive, epic iron golem towers over them both. Our hero is shocked. The old man has humanoid artifacts. The golem swings a massive fist at Iberia, but Tenma steps in and tanks the hit. As he blocks the giant, he realizes this artifact has more raw power than he does. But he can't just shatter it with his piercing sphere, since it's his friend's family heirloom. He asks for a shutdown method, and Iberia shouts to aim for the Karma Stone in its chest, its only power source. Tenma activates his Thunder Wave, because he might be weaker in strength, but his speed is unmatched. He scales the golem's arm and steals the Karma Stone in a flash. You saw that coming, right? But then a new challenger enters the fray, and takes a massive swing at him. Juki thought they were bandits, and our hero is baffled how he snuck up without a single mana wave. Even weirder, the sword just vanishes instantly. Iberia tries to give Ju all the details, but our hero is in a rush, and cuts right to the topic. Ju tells them the old master is in the back workshop, but he warns them that the old man is in a terrible mood. Iberia excitedly yells that he passed the qualifiers and placed 4th regionally. He demands his dad honor their promise and give him any artifact he wants. Instead of a prize, Iberia gets a slap to the face and a demand for the dragon gear. Iberia argues he just borrowed the gear for a bit, but his dad screams that he's being reckless because the dragon gear's side effects are permanent and absolutely devastating. Iberia storms out, and the old man eyes our hero, recognizing him as Asumi's personal student. Tenma introduces himself, and explains he's here for protection because of a grim prophecy about a massive disaster beast attack headed right their way. The old man knows Asumi has elite standards, so he wonders why she'd pick someone as average-looking as our hero. Suddenly, his eyes go wide in pure shock as he realizes this kid might actually have his level fixed. He thinks Tenma is faking his stats with an artifact, but our hero tells him it's the real deal. The old man finally understands why Asumi wanted that specific artifact. He tells Tenma his teacher is a master of profit who always demands a steep return. But our hero heard nothing about a trade, he was only told to guard him. Aiden reveals Asumi asked for a specific artifact, in exchange for sending her disciple as a bodyguard. Tenma doesn't even care about the item. He's happy to protect him anyway. But the old man is down to give it up. Still, Aiden wonders why Asumi wanted a failure. Originally, this item was built to push an awakener's attack power to the absolute limit. But a crack appeared, making its rank unknown and adding a mysterious, broken effect to the whole thing. That broken effect? It resets the critical rate whenever the user's level goes up. For a normal person, it's garbage, but seeing our hero's stats, the old man realizes this was literally made for him. He's truly one of a kind. The old man doesn't know how he gets stronger, but this artifact is perfect for Tenma, whose level never rises. Trust me, you and I just witnessed a massive turning point soon. Every single attack he lands will be 10 times stronger. Stick with me, Tenma, just equipped a totally broken crystal. But there is a catch: his crit rate only rises against stronger enemies. It is risky, but he is already planning his next move to survive the onslaught. Aiden hands over the perfect artifact for Tenma to use. Our main character tries to thank him, but the old man brushes it off. He crafted this while they were literally fighting for their lives. He tells Tenma to rest, claiming these disaster beasts would never find such a remote spot unless they already know exactly where he is hiding. Suddenly the sky cracks. Everyone looks up in shock as a massive green barrier traps them all inside. Only a few high-ranking leaders knew Aiden was here. Now he is wondering if that falling monument stone was actually a targeted strike. Now pay attention here. Juke tells everyone to stay back, but Tenma knows the beasts are already closing in. Our protagonist can feel something massive approaching them at a terrifying speed. The monsters swarm in. One lunges with razor-sharp claws, but Tenma just grabs the beast and slices right through it. He is not worried. No matter how many of these scrubs show up, his Lotus explosion technique will wipe them all out. He figures his ally Jusky could probably tank the blast too. But he hesitates. Using such a massive attack might accidentally blow up Aiden and Iberia hiding in the hut behind him. Tenma clears the first wave, but then he feels a second surge of magic power, much stronger than before. While more beasts swarm, the Demon King Yamaraja reports to his lord. The first wave of low-tier slaves has officially entered the human world. He asks which of the 8 demon kings should lead the main invasion force. Wait. The lord reveals he has been watching a very important person through an eye he left behind during his last visit. Now, he wants them to capture this human alive. Yamaraja wonders if one of the 8 demon kings will handle the kidnapping too. But the lord says a demon king would just destroy his spy eye. Instead, he assigns a demon general to the task. As for the main army, he gives command to the ape-eating demon. Apparently, he has been craving the taste of living humans. Back at the hut, Tenma hears Iberia's voice. He realizes a beast might have actually slipped past him. You and I both know what is coming. A level 24 horned guardian monster spawns in, looking for a fight. Tenma gets serious. No more sandbagging. It is finally time to unleash the secret ability he has been keeping on ice. This mob hits hard, but that is actually a win for him. Every heavy blow just fuels his critical rate even faster. The system shows his broken crystal is pumping his stats like crazy. With every level up, the farm just gets better. Tenma fires his clear orb to test the new skill. A beam of purple energy drills through the monster, deleting it in one shot. Just like that, his crit rate hits 1%. Everything is going exactly according to plan. He tells Joseph to hold the line outside while he handles the pest control inside the cabin. He rushes toward the cabin at full speed to make sure his friend does not get spawn killed. Inside, Iberia is pinned down by a horned demon, completely helpless without his dragon gear. He is ready to accept the end, but then his dad drops in and blocks the strike with a massive hammer. Iberia is stunned. He always thought his father was just a simple regular craftsman. But Aiden does not even flinch as the monster charges back in to finish the job. Before it can reach him, Tenma flashes in and drives all his power straight through the beast's chest, ending it. Our boy apologizes for the laggy entrance, while the old man asks about the chaos happening outside. Tenma notes the magic signatures have vanished. Jose must have already cleared the entire board out there. They look out at the absolute carnage. Iberia is genuinely shook by just how much of a powerhouse Jose turned out to be. Jose is ready to keep the momentum going and solo every remaining beast trapped inside the barrier. But Tenma puts the brakes on that. He tells him to stay behind and protect Aiden and Iberia instead. In that moment, the old man looks into Tenma's eyes. He realizes the kid is not scared at all. He is actually hungry for the fight. Seeing that raw excitement, Aiden decides to trust him to take on the barrier solo. Jose is worried though. A green barrier means monsters, up to level 26, are waiting for them. But our boy does not hesitate for a second. He jets off toward the barrier like a bolt of lightning. Hyped to go all out, Iberia tries to follow, but his dad shuts that down fast. He tells his son to stop being completely delusional. And trust me, you and I just realized Tenma lives in a completely different world. You and I are about to witness a family talk that gets absolutely savage. Aiden shuts down Iberia's teamwork speech with brutal honesty, calling his own son nothing but dead weight. Those cold words hit Iberia like a truck, and coming from his father, they cut deep. Aiden explains that normal rules don't apply to a monster like him, asking his son if he's seen the boy's eyes. Iberia has zero comeback, finally realizing just how massive the power gap really is between them. At the barrier, the system pings 5 targets and instantly refills our boy's magic by 50%. Surrounded by monsters, he doesn't even flinch, just telling the beasts to move before they get hurt. He triggers a Lotus Burst, deleting all 5 enemies in a massive blast that boosts his critical rate. Iberia and Jose watch the explosion from afar, finally understanding that his slow leveling is actually a lie. This guy is hiding a broken gift. Inside the green dome, the entire vibe shifts instantly. The monsters in here, they're built different. Magic detection gets jammed by the barrier, but he remembers his master's color-coded guide to pure danger. Green means level 26 to 50 mobs, basically a massive experience point buffet for him and his hound. He summons his level 16 Death Hound, promising the good boy all the experience from this run. Stick with me, he is about to turn these monsters into his personal prey. That night at a private estate, things get tense, as the awakened guards finally touch down. Among them is Cherry G. McKay, a level 63 first-grade savior geared up in heavy armor. Everything seems secure on the outside. But the daughter is panicking because a special-grade savior named Heen hasn't answered her in 6 hours. She worries about monster trouble, but her father acts like the local beasts are just a minor inconvenience. Still, he insists they need more power, saying only a special grade can handle the northern threats. The armored warrior Cherry isn't buying the hype about those elites though. He claims the gap between grades is just a myth and that he can solo any beast around. The old man calls him delusional for underestimating a final boss. But then, a monolith drops from the sky, and disaster beasts start flooding into the area immediately. Cherry steps up with massive main character vibes to save the day. He declares he will solo the whole wave just to prove first graders are actually cracked. Inside the green barrier, he finds a creepy mirror version of the forest. A green beam shoots up, confirming this is a separate dimension where his magic detection is limited. Watch this. The system pings enemies, instantly topping off his magic. He tells his wolf to play goalie at the entrance and sparks up his electric powers. 2 massive units charge, but he is way too fast. He dodges the first and slams the second, finishing with an electric blast. When a bigger elite monster tries to step up, our boy doesn't even let it finish the intro. He fires clear orbs through an elite's face, boosting his critical rate. After dropping the beast, he eyes the monolith, but the system pings one more enemy. He locks back in, sensing a true boss lurking deep in the shadows. Without warning, black spikes erupt from the ground, but he dodges just in time before becoming a literal kebab for the enemy. He spots the source of the attack hiding right behind the massive monolith. He immediately clocks that this beast is a completely different breed compared to the fodder. This is no mindless monster, it's lethal. From the outside, the massive green dome looks like it's swallowing the forest whole. Iberia stands there bruised, worried he is just dead weight for his friend. Jose gives him a reality check about how green barriers are far more dangerous. Trust me, you and I are not ready for what is coming. Alright, stick with me because Jose just realized Tenma isn't a burden, he's just built different, playing on a level most can't touch. Inside the dome, our boy is actually hyped to finally find one of those rumored intelligent monsters. The creature is straight up trash-talking him, asking if he's praying and calling him a coward for being level 0. It thinks he's trembling from fear, but Tenma just flashes a sinister grin, he's actually just vibrating with excitement. With that, our boy starts engulfing himself in pure power, and asks if the beast can feel pain. The monster screams that a mere human could never hurt it. It lunges forward, swinging its bladed limbs with enough force to delete anything in its path. Tenma sparks up his electricity, and meets the charge head-on, launching a slashing counter that cuts through the air. He thinks he's winning, but then he notices something sus. The monster's magic is climbing, and its reflexes are getting even faster. The problem is that our boy's raw attack power is still a bit low for this, and his strikes are barely leaving a scratch on the creature's thick hide. The monster is low-key impressed by the agility, but dismisses him anyway, claiming 100 weak hits wouldn't even tickle his armor. Our boy uses his insane speed to weave through attacks, even using the monster's own appendages to parry the incoming blows. As the pressure builds, now here's the part you and I need to watch, he dares the beast to land a hit, and then the monster realizes Tenma is redlining his speed. It starts wondering just how much magic he actually has left in the tank. During the fast trade, Tenma realizes the creature's antennas are part of its main body. That's why his Misa's skill was acting sus and not triggering. He stays focused on the grind, dodging attacks while keeping a mental tally of every hit he lands. The monster thinks the effort is pointless, but with his magic hitting the red zone, Tenma decides it's time for an all-in play. He ramps up the frequency of his strikes, knowing all he needs is one lucky critical hit to end the fight. Every tiny scratch builds up the system's hidden meter while the monster scoffs, thinking its bladed armor is invincible. In his rush to stack hits, Tenma gets a bit too aggressive and eats a heavy counter. A tentacle goes through him. The monster mocks him, asking where all that big talk about pain went. It secretly gives him props for having high defense, but then everything changes. A red aura explodes around our boy. This is the signal from the crystal that his pity timer is finally up. His next move is a guaranteed crit, putting every ounce of power left into one move. He drives a massive punch into the monster's chest. The impact is absolutely nuclear. The resulting shockwave clears the surrounding forest and blindsides the beast with explosive force. The monster gets planted in a tree. You saw that, right? Even Tenma is shook by how hard that hit landed, wondering how a level 0 human pulled a one-shot move. Standing over the wrecked creature, Tenma is vibing on a mix of pure adrenaline and satisfaction. Even though he's got a gnarly wound on his stomach, he can't feel a thing. With steam rising from his breath and a scary smile, he grabs the beast and asks if it finally understands what pain feels like. The monster is terrified, calling him a cheater because his power scaling makes zero sense. Our boy points out the other fodder didn't even live long enough to scream before finishing the beast off for good. Boss down, his critical rate climbs to a permanent 4%. The second the adrenaline drops, the pain hits him like a truck. He notices the barrier is transparent, a sign everything is cleared. He hobbles to the green monolith, knowing its destruction is the final objective, and shatters it. As the pieces fall, he collapses to the ground, exhausted but relieved. He remembers he left his new companion on farming duty, and calls out for his wolf, Death. The wolf is notably chunkier. The system confirms the wolf leveled up 3 times, and scored 150 status points, proving that it physically grows with every new level. Our boy stares at his growing wolf with genuine excitement, already wondering just how big this guy can really get. Then in the middle of the night, the green barrier finally flickers and vanishes, leaving the warriors absolutely stunned. Trust me, Jose's expression says it, all the real fight starts now. Alright, you and I are about to watch a rookie speedrun a high-level barrier in 10 minutes flat, making every veteran look like a total amateur. But this win cost him everything. He is slumped against a rock, looking like a total mess and covered in deep wounds, while death stands over him like a loyal bodyguard, watching his master his health bar drop with real concern. Since he is too drained to walk, our MC tells his wolf to track their magical trail back to his blonde teammate. Without missing a beat, the massive wolf lets out a howl that echoes through the entire mountain range. At camp, the veteran hears the howl and immediately gets suspicious. Why are there beast noises if the barrier is supposedly cleared? He enters full combat mode, telling the apprentice to get to safety, but the blonde boy just stands there, frozen. He recognizes that howl from earlier. Suddenly, a massive shadow bursts from the trees, and Joseph pulls out his colossal sword, ready to one-tap whatever just jumped out of the bushes. But Iberia realizes it is death at the very last second. He screams for the warrior to stop, explaining this giant wolf is actually on their side. Death dodges the swing with high-level agility, carefully protecting his unconscious master during all the chaos. Jazuk stands there looking completely confused, unable to wrap his head around how a level 0 player is out here commanding top-tier spirits like a total boss. Now pay attention, because Iberia is losing his mind seeing his buddy multi-class into spirit summoning on top of everything else. This is getting wild. He sees the MC as a mess of injuries and desperately asks what kind of monster caused all this damage. Tenma mumbles a request for rest before passing out cold, sending Iberia into another round of frantic, high-pitched screaming. Joseph has to step in and act like the adult here, pointing out the guy is still breathing and just needs some serious medical attention immediately. Back home, as he watches his friend lying in bed, Iberia hits a moment of deep, heavy reflection. Realizing the power gap is a canyon, he thinks about his role as a wind elementalist built for air control. His C-rank gift, Healing Wind, is for support, but he hates it because it nerfs his own damage output. But seeing his teammate on the brink of a game over, he finally decides to stop being stubborn. He activates the skill, and a soft green aura glows as he pours his magic into Tenma. Even though the healing looks painful, he keeps going, begging his friend to pull through so they can keep grinding. Just when things seem to be cooling down, but just as things calm down, trust me, this is where it gets crazy. A massive purple barrier drops over the entire region. A split second later, a devastating attack slices through a building like it is made of paper. The girl tries to use her butterfly healing on the warrior, but he screams at her to run for her life. He is staring down a level 81 Minotaur warrior, realizing humanity is basically cooked against something that beefy. The armored fighter warns their leader to run, but he just stands there like a total legend. Hearing that name, the monster gets excited to find its target and swings its massive fist at him. As the attack lands, it creates a massive explosion that rocks the entire battlefield. The girl is blown back, screaming for her father, who just took a direct hit to the face. But as the dust settles, Yumi is barely scratched, casually complaining that someone finally showed up late. It is Heen. He came in clutch and stopped that massive attack with just one hand. He apologizes for the late arrival, telling everyone to step back and let him handle the oversized cow. The Minotaur scoffs, but Heen does not waste any time talking. He is here for the smoke. He throws a punch so hard it drills a hole straight through the creature's upper body. Seeing that, Cherry's jaw hits the floor. He wonders if this is what a special class savior looks like. Basically, a monster in human skin. The girl starts celebrating, but Heen shuts it down. The real boss fight starts as the barrier turns blood red. Tucked away in the shadows, a red-flamed demon watches the chaos with a wicked, evil grin. This guy's a level 37 king, and he is hyped to see how his lord is going to torment the humans next. He is not alone. A level 49 white ogre is lurking right behind him. The demon general tells the ogre to keep it chill for now, reminding him their mission is a surgical strike to capture a target, not just a random killing spree. The level 87 demon general breaks down the master plan, explaining that they use these barriers as a massive distraction to keep the heavy-hitting humans busy while they strike. The demon is confused. You and I just witnessed a setup for total chaos. Stay tuned. Alright, you and I are jumping into a world where one wrong move inside these glowing barriers means instant death for everyone. According to him, Lord Su's red barrier will lure in strong humans nearby and keep the area clear. While they carry out their dark mission, the massive monster Lord Su lets out a bone-chilling roar from within that glowing red barrier right now. While world rankers chase the red glow, the real threat moves in the shadows. The demon group plans to vanish with their prize before anyone even notices. Lord Linga is guiding them with a demonic eye already planted in the human world, giving them a live 4K feed of their objective, Tenma. Suddenly, our main character bolts upright in a cold sweat, his eye glowing with a terrifying and intense demonic red light. Stuck in bed, he can still feel the suffocating weight of the nightmare he just had about his mother. In the dream, a younger version of himself was bragging to her about finally finding a beast that could feel pain, claiming his revenge was over. But his mother's ghost didn't look happy. She gently tells him that revenge is never the answer, and begs him to protect his loved ones instead. But young Tenma absolutely loses his mind at that. He screamed that he could never forgive the monsters who took his parents away forever. With eyes burning with pure hatred, he swore to wipe every single beast off the earth. His mom just gave a sad, glitching smile as she started to fade away, telling him she had to go. He desperately tries to grab her hand, but their fingers only graze each other before she dissolves into light, leaving him alone and crying in the dark. Then, a dark voice started mocking him for crying over someone who was already dead. He turns to find his sleep paralysis demon, the literal embodiment of destruction itself. The demon calls him a child, causing a red aura of pure rage to explode around him. Now pay attention here. The demon traps him in purple energy, promising that he is about to feel his soul shatter again. His body starts cracking like glass as he screams that he will delete Linga from existence, right until his dream self shatters into a million pieces. Back in reality, Tenma is gasping for air. His red eyes are still glowing as he realizes Iberia is asleep right next to him, and he feels a sharp phantom pain that makes zero sense. He can't stop overthinking what that nightmare actually meant. That is when he notices his wounds are totally gone and realizes Iberia spent the whole night patching him up. Seeing his friend completely exhausted from the effort makes him feel pretty guilty. He signals his wolf to stay quiet, but the beast lets out a roar anyway, waking Iberia up, and he immediately jumps into full defense mode. Tenma just sits there, completely unbothered, thinking a feather would probably hurt more than his friend's attack. Seeing his buddy is okay, Iberia is thrilled, giving him a massive hug, and celebrating that his healing magic actually worked. It has only been 3 hours, but that is enough to know they have officially hit day 2 of the Dark Prophecy. Even though things seem quiet for now, Tenma can't shake the suspicious vibes from his nightmare, and quickly puts on his coat, refusing to let his guard down for even a single second as they leave. Look at this, his friend wants to name the wolf. Tenma shuts him down fast, claiming he's no summoner, though he secretly wants to keep the wolf's brand pure. When they step outside, Josuke notices the healing, and asks if Iberia finally stepped up and used his secret healing ability on his friend. Tenma is shocked to learn the guy is a legit healer. He quickly brushes it off, but makes a mental note of it while heading over to the veteran warrior waiting by the warm, glowing campfire. He asks if backup has arrived, but Joseph thinks the question is a little bit strange. The forest is a literal maze, making travel almost impossible, but Tenma is not buying that excuse. He senses a heavy, dark energy creeping through the gloom, feeling like something truly nasty is finally closing in on their position right now. Meanwhile, far away, a squad of reinforcements is sprinting through the woods to reach Tenma's location. One guy is complaining, but he's hyped for a promotion. Suddenly, a pink-haired girl tells the whole squad to kill the engine and stop immediately. She senses something dangerous and warns everyone to get into a combat stance right now. Trust me, you and I need to see the 2 shadowy figures that just stepped out of the brush to face them. Alright, stick with me, we're starting with the flame-haired demon and his massive ogre friend. This fire demon just grins, mockingly asking if everyone is here for the same deadly party. Suddenly he summons a flaming skeleton to the battlefield. He mocks the humans for being so fragile, bragging that it only took a single fireball to turn their world into a living nightmare. Right next to him, that white ogre is standing over a warrior he just smashed into dust. Even the fire demon thinks the ogre went overboard with that hit, making it crystal clear these human reinforcements are in for a brutal night. Our pink-haired girl is losing it, screaming about how these monsters managed to spawn past the barrier. With a cruel smirk, the demon charges a fireball, bragging about how far they traveled just to ruin her entire life. She starts sobbing in total despair, realizing she is trapped in a hopeless situation, while the demon general casually warns the fire demon not to touch his kill. But then watch this, an ice attack freezes the fire demon solid right where he stands. The general makes it clear that was just a warning, and things will get ugly if he doesn't back off. Furious, the fire demon manages to shatter his icy cage and burst free, though he is secretly sweating over how close he just came to a permanent game over. Meanwhile, the girl is stuck in a daze, watching these two monsters flex their terrifying power on each other. She hopes they might let her go, but the fire demon clearly thinks she is not worth the mercy. The general has other plans, testing a new gift from his lord. Dark tendrils explode outward and snag the girl, and this changed everything as her system is overwritten. When the smoke clears, she is standing perfectly still. Her face shadowed, and her energy completely transformed. His partner thinks she's dead, but the general reveals she hasn't been deleted at all. She's been turned into a demon, and her eyes start glowing a deep red. A mark burns onto her forehead, confirming she's now a loyal puppet for the demon army. She drops to one knee, robotically asking for her first objective in this war. The general orders her to go undercover and play the victim, but what they didn't know was her true plan. She has to claim her entire squad was slaughtered, and she is the sole survivor. Her true mission? Wait for the arrival of their big boss, Linga. With her orders set, she vanishes into the dark forest to begin her infiltration of the human world. The other demon still doesn't understand why they are recruiting these weak little humans. But the general explains they've already converted thousands, including some elite awakened fighters. These sleeper agents are going to be high-value pieces once their lord officially takes over the entire world for good. The leader shuts down the talk and orders everyone out, reminding them this mission is their #1 priority. Now, let's jump forward to day 2 of the prophecy, where a massive iron golem stands guard over a silent village. Watching it closely, Jose realizes the golem's tank stats totally make up for their small squad as they prep for the raid. He asks about Tenma, and Iberia lets him know that the dark-haired hero is currently busy working inside the blacksmith shop. Inside, Tenma is geeking out with Iberia's dad over a crystal that activated during his last big fight. He explains that his tiny 3% critical hit chance jumped to 4% after slaying that forest beast. The old craftsman is impressed, noting that landing a crit with such trash luck is basically a miracle. But our boy admits it wasn't just about the extra damage. He felt like he entered a flow state where he could see every move coming. The blacksmith wonders if this is actually a hidden perk buried inside the boy's special gear. It's that legendary Ultra Instinct feeling where time slows down and battle feels like a walk in the park. Tenma nods, confirming that's exactly how he felt while dancing around monsters in the middle of all that danger. The dad is shook, realizing Tenma actually tapped into a legendary flow state during the heat of combat. He describes it as that ultra-rare phenomenon where someone gets so deeply absorbed in their task that the rest of the world just stops existing. Since the boy looks a little lost with all the jargon, the blacksmith breaks it down simply. It's like a painter who forgets to eat for a masterpiece, or an athlete whose body just moves on autopilot with zero mistakes. When an awakened person hits this zone, their senses sharpen, and every skill effect gets a massive 120% buff across the board. This makes them unstoppable. Tenma is stunned because his master never even mentioned this was a thing. The old man warns that it takes insane focus and luck. Stick around, things are about to get even crazier. Alright, you and I are about to see the line in the sand between geniuses and everyone else. Most people never even see it, and the master admits it took 2 years of awakening just to find that zone once. But our main character pulled it off in just 1 month, a speedrun record that shouldn't even be possible. Suddenly, Tenma's focus shifts as he detects 3 dark, powerful energy signatures closing in at high speed. At first they hope it's the guards, but the energy feels toxic, more like disaster-level beasts. The boy sprints out of the workshop immediately, throwing the door open with a dead serious look, ready to start swinging. His friends are confused by the tension, but he warns them that massive magical waves mean trouble is coming. Iberia tries to stay calm, pointing out there's no barrier. And the iron golem is on watch, but the logic fails instantly. Without warning, something hits the golem like a freight train. Iberia is speechless as the massive metal giant gets pierced through the chest, its heavy frame falling apart into scrap metal. Josie is just as stunned because the golem got one-tapped before it could even register the threat. That's when 3 high-level demons, including the demon general and his team, finally reveal themselves. The system confirms it's day 2 of the prophecy as a heavy, unsettling aura starts suffocating the entire area. Now, pay attention, our boy realizes these guys are on a totally different level than the barrier. The leader's magical waves are the most oppressive force he's ever felt in his entire life. The demon leader announces he'll personally handle the capture, while his 2 subordinates dispose of the human trash, with one strict rule. Do not damage the demonic eye under any circumstances. The monsters obey, and the human squad is shaken to realize these creatures can actually speak back. Josie doesn't waste time, stepping to the front and swearing nobody gets past him before charging with his sword raised. But as he charges, he struggles just to track the demon's movement. The enemy is moving at a glitched speed. Yet he and Iberia are committed to keeping the monsters away from their friend at any cost. The shadow demon instantly throws up an ice barrier that stops Josie's charge like a massive brick wall. The warrior slams into the solid ice. He's totally cut off, and even his best sword swings can't dent the magic. Right as he's struggling, a white ogre spawns behind him and lets a massive punch fly. The warrior spins to block, but the raw power is absolutely cracked, sending him flying backward like a ragdoll. Tenma screams for his friend, but the fire demon tells him he has 0 time to worry about others. With a toxic grin, the demon launches a massive fireball straight at them, forcing Tenma to drop his black wall to tank it. The explosion is massive, leaving Iberia in total shock. Meanwhile, Tenma's system activates a rank A copy ability to analyze those flames. Progress is only at 1%, and with his arms scorched, Tenma realizes he overestimated his barrier and should have dodged. The fire demon mocks him for thinking weak ice could stop the heat, while secretly wondering if he went too hard on the bearer. Okay, I know what you're thinking. A level 0 human? The demon starts laughing as Tenma struggles. He figures he can just finish the kid off and ignore the mission because the power gap is just insane. But Tenma isn't folding. He summons his death hound to even the odds. The demon mocks the 2 versus 1 attempt, calling the wolf basic, and bragging that 10 more wouldn't change the outcome. Our boy is betting everything on his summon, and when the next explosion goes off, the demon is shocked he actually dodged it. The monster notices something suspicious about that wolf too. It's not just following the boy, but is actually moving toward the demon's true objective. Tenma thinks playing weak could bait the demon into stalling, but he just can't bring himself to act like a coward. Instead, he lets his aura explode with red eyes and blue lightning. He basically tells the demon he looks mid. Triggered by the trash talk, the monster decides to turn him into ashes immediately. He launches another massive attack, but the boy dodges it cleanly. Realizing the demon is just a long-range zoner with average speed, Tenma decides to close the gap and force a close-quarters fight. Charging in with everything he's got, the fire demon is caught off guard by the sudden aggressive approach. Trust me, you're not ready. Alright, you and I are diving into a fight where the odds are stacked against us as a monster watches our hero with a twisted, predatory smile, ready to spring a lethal trap. Tenma strikes, but the demon instantly summons a shield of pure flames and blocks the kick with terrifying ease. A massive burst of heat hits him center chest, throwing him back like a ragdoll and crashing hard into a nearby tree. Tenma pulls himself together, realizing he fell right into a lethal trap. What they didn't know is the demon is impressed, as no level 0 fighter should move that fast. Bloody and bruised, our main character forces himself up, staring down the monster with eyes full of determination. The creature mocks him, suggesting he just give up and take the loss to make things easier for everyone. But Tenma is playing the long game. His power analysis system just hit 81%. He just needs to stall for time. Meanwhile, at 3:14 a.m., the shadow leader confronts Iberia's father. The demon lists the blacksmith's legendary feats, calling him the greatest craftsman in all of human history. The demon asks if he is really planning to throw his life away, making it clear he can live as long as he stays useful. But the blacksmith is not interested. He charges with his tools, but then everything changed when his entire body suddenly freezes solid in place. Frozen solid in ice. Now watch this part carefully. The demon shows who really holds the power here while Iberia watches from the shadows, totally paralyzed. Terrified and shaking behind a suit of armor, Iberia can only watch as his father faces a grim fate. Suddenly, Tenma's deathhound bursts onto the scene in a desperate rescue attempt. Iberia watches as the wolf lunges, but the shadow leader freezes the giant beast solid in the blink of an eye. The demon sneers at his minions for the intrusion while the blacksmith realizes reinforcements have finally arrived. Even if they are in pieces. Iberia is horrified, seeing even a legendary summon get crushed without landing a single hit on the enemy. His first instinct is to call Tenma for help, knowing he is totally outmatched. But his father's warning echoes. He cannot drag his injured friend into what is basically an absolute meat grinder right now. A new look of determination. He decides that running away is for losers, and he will save his dad no matter what. He remembers the dragon gear, and realizes it is his only win condition as he sprints toward the workshop. Convinced the item is under the old man's bed, he pushes his limits. He prays his dad can hang on while he goes to find the ultimate cheat code. The shadow leader senses someone was nearby and calls them a coward for abandoning the old man. You and I saw this coming. The demon now announces he is taking the blacksmith to his final destination. The old man is stuck, helpless inside a block of ice as he is dragged away. On the other side of the map, the fire demon prepares a fatality move to finish Tenma off for good. With his leg scorched, Tenma drops a smoke screen and activates Thunderbreaker to maximize his speed. He is dodging fireballs left and right, but the monster notices him starting to slow down. The demon mocks him, asking how much longer a broken kid can escape a guaranteed kill shot. The stakes skyrocket as the creature uses both hands to charge a massive area attack. Dozens of fire projectiles rain down like a storm, leaving the boy with absolutely nowhere to hide. His eyes go wide as the inferno closes in from every single direction. Exhausted and heavy, he knows he cannot dodge this perfectly and must brace for impact. He braces for the blast as the system shows the analysis is at 90%. He grits his teeth through the searing heat as the numbers climb toward 98%. A direct hit sends him flying, swallowed by a massive pillar of flame. As he falls, the memory of his mother being consumed by fire flashes through his mind. The demon grins, putting everything into one final piercing shot to finish him. And that is where we leave it, trust me. You and I are about to witness the ultimate comeback, as the barrier finally hits 100%. Alright, you and I are watching as this shockwave hits, leaving the flame demon totally confused about where that shield came from. The system chimes and Black Wall just reached level 3. Tenma gets a massive 50-point stat boost and an instant full heal. It is basically like skipping 4 entire levels in a heartbeat, and he is definitely feeling the main character vibes now. The demon is losing it. Its flames are not even leaving a scratch, and it thinks he just popped a defensive skill. But the wall has evolved. A massive protective ice lotus blooms around him. The fire creature tries to keep its cool, prepping a new attack and telling itself that the real fight is only starting. Suddenly it freezes. Its eyes go wide as it realizes the boy's body is back to 100% health. He looks like he never even took a hit in the first place. Tenma stares the demon down. He explains the plan was to save Aiden first, but those flames? They triggered some core trauma from his past. Now watch closely, because he has decided to delete this demon right here and now. His eyes glow with unbridled rage as he prepares to crush the monster into the dirt. Meanwhile, Jose gets launched across the forest, hitting the ground hard. He only survived because he parried with his karma tool. Without those lightning reflexes, he would have been sent straight back to the lobby. Even with the block, he is struggling to stand. He tries to catch his breath as smoke and dust swirl around him. He is stunned by how far he got yeeted. These are not basic mobs, it is time to regroup. But then a massive explosion completely cuts off his vision. Through the haze, that same nightmare beast is charging him. Instead of running, Jasuke decides to aggro the monster, drawing it away to keep Tenma safe and sound. With eyes burning red, he vows to end this quickly and get back to the workshop. Inside the workshop, Iberia is desperately hunting for a buff to flip the script. He is tearing the place apart until his fingers finally find the dragon gear. He lets out a shout of pure hype as he holds up the legendary item. It grants a massive plus 100 to both attack and agility for a 15-minute window. He snaps the red armor on and feels the power surge. No more being a burden, he is going to carry his weight. His dad's warning rings out. The armor is dangerous, and that timer is a hard limit. That just makes him move faster. He is on a mission to save the old man before the clock runs out. Elsewhere, the Shadow General stands over the frozen blacksmith. He mocks him, bragging that only special-grade fighters could ever hope to stop their plan. And since the strongest heroes are busy fighting the Demon Lord, there is nobody left to play the hero here. Trapped in ice, the blacksmith wonders if they really did all this for a simple craftsman. The general tells him not to get a big head about it. He is just one piece in a global plot. But then you saw that too, right? The demon senses a presence. Someone is blitzing through the trees. Iberia comes blasting out of the woods like a total blur, heading straight for them. He goes straight for the demon in a desperate attempt to finally free the blacksmith from his icy prison. The general looks visibly annoyed by the interruption. He complains that these humans just keep getting up no matter how many times they are put down. Back on the battlefield, Tenma is standing tall on his ice lotus. He looks like he just stepped out of a spa, instead of a firestorm. The fire demon is having a meltdown. He literally watched the boy get roasted alive. Yet now, there is not a single scratch on him. Refusing to accept the kid just reset his health bar, the demon decides that no matter how many times he heals, the ending is the same. He unleashes a wild barrage of fireballs, raining destruction in every direction to delete him for good. Tenma pops his wall again, letting the explosions throw heat and dust everywhere while the demon laughs. But the smoke clears and he walks out totally unbothered, gaining another 15% buff to his defense. Activating Thunderbreaker, he surges forward with a burst of electricity that makes the demon's jaw drop. The kid is moving even faster now. He blitzes through the fire barrier like it is nothing. With a focused gaze, Tenma tells the beast it is time to rip those scales off. Trust me, you and I are going to want to see this punch shatter that barrier into a million pieces. Absolute peak. Don't blink, you and I are watching his resistance stats jump another 15%. And that is the exact moment the demon starts sweating. He checks the stats and panics as the defense breaks 600 points, a total impossibility for any human. What he didn't know was this level 0 kid is a raid boss in disguise, and his survival instincts are kicking in hard. He loses it, turns tail, and starts sprinting through the forest while screaming for backup. But there is no escape as Tenma pins him down, and the once mighty demon instantly starts begging for his life while the boy stays silent. He stays cold, ignoring the noise as he charges a massive amount of power into his next punch. The system confirms the next hit is a critical, making the demon wonder who the real monster is. Tenma dashes forward with lightning crackling everywhere. The punch lands, shattering the ground, and blowing the entire area into a massive cloud of smoke. As the haze clears, Tenma looks down at the absolute wreckage from above. It is over, but he is actually salty because he wanted that demon to suffer much longer before dying. Now watch this, everything changes the moment he slips back into that legendary flow state after the hit. He starts wondering if there is a secret link between his critical hits and this level of focus. Checking his system, he sees his total stats have officially crossed the 2000 mark. This is a massive milestone that basically puts him in a completely different league. The defeated demon's soul shatters into 2 green karma spheres and zips away through the trees. He watches one energy ball head toward Joseph, while the other flies straight for the workshop. He is confused because they should have split up since both Death and Aiden are there. He doesn't just sit around overthinking, sparking his lightning and taking off at full speed, truly terrified that Aiden might actually be dead already. This changed everything at the workshop, where the Shadow General is blocking every attack with total ease. Meanwhile, on the other side, even with the dragon armor boosting him, Iberia sees 0 damage, and his frustration finally boils over. He refuses to quit, swearing to keep spamming his best moves until the creature finally breaks. The Shadow General is unimpressed, treating the kid like a minor annoyance because the power gap is astronomical. Even while frozen solid, Iberia's father screams for him to stop, even threatening to disown him because he is so terrified. You and I both know the feeling he's already locked in, deciding to make the same ride or die play as Tenma. Ignoring his father, he leaps from a massive height. He dives at the enemy with every bit of mana left, while the Shadow General watches with disgust and decides he is done. With one move, he uses ice magic and snipes the boy right out of the air. Just like that, Iberia is frozen mid-flight and completely unable to move. It's the same helpless situation while the demon rants about everyone knowing their place. Suddenly, the system warns that the dragon armor has only 3 minutes of power left. Instead of getting locked down, the wolf levels up. Jumping from level 19 to 20, it shatters the ice, emerging even stronger and ready to kill everything. Tenma realizes the wolf actually absorbed that karma sphere from the fire demon he just deleted, causing this. But before he can even celebrate this level up, a wave of dark magic starts pouring out of a hole nearby with a purple glow. Not wasting a second, our boy dashes toward the light, while outside, Jose is busy fighting the white ogre and lands a massive swing that cleanly slices one of its hands off. Even without its hand, the creature lunges straight at him. Jose slides back quickly to dodge the claws and reset his stance. The warrior notices the gash he made earlier has already completely healed back to full. He is shook because the regeneration on this beast is actually unreal. Stick with me, because we are about to find out how he manages to kill a boss monster that simply refuses to stay dead. Alright, you and I are about to see a desperate gamble that changes everything. Seeing a glowing karma sphere, he decides to go solo, pouring every drop of mana into his blood-red blade. He lunges for the final strike. But the beast is smart enough to block its weak spot. Jose lands without the kill he needed, but get this, that failed moment actually gives him the winning strategy he was looking for. He realizes those arms are the only thing keeping this monster in the fight. Break the defense, and the core is wide open. He flashes a confident smirk, the kind that says he just solved the entire puzzle and it is game over. Charging back in, he launches a relentless flurry of slashes at the beast. But the real goal isn't the kill yet, it's to systematically shred its arms. He's already done the math. The monster needs exactly 1 full second to regenerate after a heavy hit. And that 1 second is all he needs. With eyes burning, he loads his rage into one final devastating swing. A trail of red energy rips through the air, hitting the core dead on and finally ending the fight. Catching his breath, Jose admits that was a total sweatfest. Fighting a healing boss like that is absolutely exhausting. As the smoke clears, he knows he can't stay. He needs to find Tenma and prepare for the next wave. Now pay attention, because things just got much worse for the blacksmith. The Shadow General has him pinned, and is enjoying every second of the old man's misery. The blacksmith has only one request. He begs the demon to spare his son and keep the kid safe. But the Shadow General isn't interested in mercy. He tells the old man he's about to lose his free will and become nothing more than a puppet. Then, the general drops some terrifying lore about the son's armor. He recognizes the gear as Dragon Tribe technology. Their life force doesn't just vanish when they die, it lingers inside the gear like a virus, waiting for a host. The longer someone wears the suit, the more that dragon soul eats away at their mind, until their body is completely taken over. The story takes a quick beat to flashback, showing Jose and Iberia walking together on a quiet afternoon. The kid is geeking out about how much he admires Tenma, which catches Jose off guard. He asks why the boy is so focused on him when there are plenty of legendary warriors to admire. Jose even mentions some famous fighters they both know, pointing out that even he has more of a reputation than the boy thinks. You and I can see Iberia go totally quiet here. He realizes he doesn't actually have an answer, looking surprised that he can't even explain his own feelings. That small moment really sticks with the kid, making him realize his admiration for Tenma was just always there, like a permanent power-up he never bothered to check the stats on. 10 years ago, tiny Iberia was running around with pure main character energy, swinging a wooden sword like it was a legendary weapon. His mom watches with a wholesome smile, asking if he's enjoying his birthday gift. And the kid is obsessed. He gives the toy a heroic name, and announces that he is going to be a real-life hero protecting everyone from monsters. He sprints off to show the neighborhood kids while his dad watches, low-key wondering if the kid actually has any real friends to play with. The hype doesn't last long. The little boy runs up to a group to show off his pride and joy, but the mood shifts into toxic territory instantly. The other kids are clearly jealous, and one of them demands the sword. Little Iberia senses the bad vibes, and grips his sword tight, as the bullies close in, making snarky comments about how his dad can just make a new one. The boy wants to say no, but the fear is too real, and he completely freezes up. With a fake smile, hiding serious tears, he hands over the sword, and the bullies just laugh and run off with their stolen loot. Looking down, the little boy is just a lonely figure, standing in a massive empty yard. He stands there biting his lip, totally angry at himself for being too scared to stand his ground. He eventually heads back to the workshop where his dad is busy and his mom is resting. When his mom asks if he had fun, he hits her with a total lie, saying everything was great. Of course his mom can tell he is faking. She goes quiet while his dad, who knows what happened, asks where the sword went. His mom is ready to go get it back, but the blacksmith stops her. He points out that the bullies will just wait and take it again even if they win. He slams his hammer down, frustrated his son can't even ask for help. And trust me, you and I are about to see why that matters. Stick with me, we're about to witness a father terrified that his son is way too soft for this world. Months pass, and a heartbreaking memory shows young Iberia weeping in a hospital, his world falling apart. His eyes flicker with a golden glow while his father absolutely loses it, grabbing a doctor by the coat and demanding they save her life. Inside the quiet room, his mother whispers his name with her final breath. The boy rushes over, gripping her hand tightly as if he could pull her back from the edge. She speaks one last time, telling him that despite what his father says, he isn't a coward. She sees the truth, he simply has a gentle, kind heart. But then she drops a heavy truth: kindness, without strength, is dangerous, because eventually, your weakness will end up hurting everyone you love. She tells him it's time to level up and find the courage to protect what matters most. She asks him to watch over his dad, certain that he'll become a legendary awakened one day. The monitor flatlines and the boy breaks, promising through his tears to become the strongest fighter in the entire world. Back in the present, Iberia remembers the first time he ever met Tenma. Honestly, the guy's power was on such a terrifying level that the boy figured he'd just be some temporary ally passing through his life. But pay attention, as they spent time together, he realized Tenma was built different. He watched him solo hundreds of enemies and face down disaster-class beasts without even blinking. Beneath that rough exterior, Tenma had a quiet warmth, helping people in ways that most would never even see coming. Iberia finally admits to Jose that his only goal is to follow the legendary path this man walks. With pure determination, He confesses that Tenma is the exact kind of awakened one he dreams of becoming. But then his confidence wavers. He feels talentless and cowardly, thinking he could never actually reach that elite tier. Even with blood staining his face. He smiles, saying fighting beside Tenma is enough, but then, the transformation hits 100%. The dragon suit consumes him, turning Iberia into a full-on monstrous beast right before our eyes. Suddenly he hears a familiar voice. He turns to see Tenma standing there, looking him straight in the eyes. Tenma spots him and calls out, reminding him he was told never to use that dangerous dragon gear. But then he sees smoke pouring from the boy's mouth, and realizes something is horribly wrong. His movements are twisted, and his eyes flash red, as the dragon kid mutters something under his breath. Tenma asks what he's saying and where his father is, but suddenly, the monster lets out a roar and goes for a sneak attack. Tenma reacts instantly, catching his wrist and screaming for his friend to finally snap out of it. He shoves the beast back, and for a second, their eyes lock as if Iberia is trying to speak. Then the system pings Windblade active, and blue energy starts crackling around the monster's claws. He fires an air slash so powerful it erases everything in its path, forcing Tenma to use magic detection. Just as the strike connects, Tenma dodges, realizing he's up against a high-level wind elemental skill. Now think about this, is it the armor controlling him, or has he lost himself entirely? He activates Thunderbreaker, deciding the only way to save his friend is to knock some sense into him. The beast charges and they collide with massive force. Even as the fight intensifies, Tenma can still feel his friend's aura buried deep under the corruption. He can't believe his own teammate is actually trying to kill him. Then he hears a faint voice from the monster, like Iberia is begging to be put out of his misery. The realization hits hard, but before he can move, the beast roars and swings with lethal force. Just as the blow is about to land, Jose steps in and blocks it, saving Tenma's life. With a massive shove, Jose sends the beast flying, stating clearly that they've reached the absolute worst-case scenario. As they talk, the monster begins circling them with blinding supernatural speed. Jose reveals the truth: the armor hasn't just made him stronger, it's completely hijacked his body. Tenma suggests stripping the gear, but Jose shuts him down. It's fused with his body, and there might be no way to bring him back. Without hesitation, he says the only choice left is to kill the creature. And that's where we leave it. Tenma steps forward, insisting he'll handle this tragedy himself. Stick with me, you and I are witnessing a hero. Send Joski to rescue Aiden, while summoning his Deathhound for a final stand. Jose warns him if this monster escapes now, it only gets more lethal. This has to end here. As Joke heads out with the wolf, the boy steps up and blocks the beast's massive charge. The creature strikes back with wind blades, tearing through everything in its path. But then, the boy realizes his friend is still trapped inside that form. He is holding back, refusing to actually kill him. Suddenly, the beast charges its energy for a devastating 1,000 wind blades attack. Massive claw slashes fly toward Tenma, who just stands his ground. Iberia is shocked as the boy literally walks straight into the incoming blades. Blood splatters everywhere. Even in his monster form, Iberia is in tears, screaming while he watches this horrific scene unfold. Elsewhere in the Shadow Realm, the demon general reports to Lord Linga that Aiden is finally captured, though they lost both the fire demon and the white ogre. Linga does not care about the deaths as long as the target is secured. Then, the general drops some news about Lord Siru, the massive beast currently struggling against Izumi's entire squad. Linga brushes it off, thinking Siru was just a simple distraction anyway. But pay attention here, he is actually shook when he learns a single human is holding Siru back. The general names the man Heighten, the guy rumored to have the strongest, tankiest body in all of existence. Back on the field, Heighten just blocked Siru's massive attack like an absolute boss. The group, especially Cherry, is watching from the sidelines in pure awe. Even with his wounds healed, he's never seen a fight this brutal up close. Siru is not slowing down, swinging with enough force to literally delete the ground. The girl tries to help, but Izumi stops her, promising Heighten is not soft enough to die from basic hits like that. He warns her never to underestimate a special grade, and right then, Heighten appears from the dust completely unbothered. Izumi mentions Heighten's legendary second form, and just hearing the hype leaves his daughter in shock. Suddenly Heighten goes Super Saiyan. You and I both know this is bad news. His aura shifts and his stats skyrocket, but he becomes a total maniac. Before Izumi can even name the form, the real violence begins. Heighten launches himself forward, flying straight through the monster's chest and leaving a massive hole where its heart used to be. He lands behind the beast and like a total legend, he does not even look back. The monster collapses. The girl is confused, but Izumi explains he is heading off to smash the barrier's power source. She's hyped that even as a maniac, he is still following the objective. Izumi points out that distinguishing friend from foe is what makes him a true special grade. With one punch, Heighten wrecks the stone, and as it shatters, his eyes return to normal. He looks around totally confused, sighing with regret when he realizes he slipped back into that other form again. As the barrier fades, the group gets hyped, but Izumi takes a second to call out his daughter. He reminds her she was ready to die for Heighten earlier, which is definitely not her usual style. She gets embarrassed and quickly switches the subject to Tenma's squad, hoping they are okay. On the other side of the battlefield, the monster that was Iberia is losing its mind in pure confusion. He is absolutely baffled as to why Tenma did not even try to dodge. But Tenma took the hit on purpose. Physical pain is the only thing that can numb his heart right now. He walks straight up to the beast and fires his clear orb directly into the creature's chest like a bullet. The orb rips through the corruption, causing the dragon armor to crumble away completely. It reveals Iberia, who is a bloody mess, crying his heart out. He confesses he only put on the suit because he did not want to be a burden anymore. Tenma tells him he was never a weight, then drops the truth the beasts were actually trying to turn his dad into a puppet. They wanted to control him all along. With a cold look, Tenma promises to save the blacksmith and crush the beast behind all this drama. Iberia hears this and smiles, leaving the rest of the mission in Tenma's hands as he fades away. As day 2 closes, trust me, you and I are not ready for what's next. Alright, stick with me because you and I are about to watch everything Tenma loves get ripped away by a smiling monster. Deep in the forest, Cherry is starting to feel a little bit confused about the mission. He doesn't get why they are still guarding Izumi in the mountains when the main threat is already gone. It was Heen's job, but after that crazy transformation, he is completely out of commission, leaving the squad to scramble. As they hike, Yumi's daughter suddenly freezes because her spirit senses are screaming that something terrifying and strange is waiting for them on the path. They look up and see a lonely figure standing there, cradling a lifeless body in his arms. At first no one recognizes him, but as they get closer they realize it is Tenma and the vibe is completely off. She starts sweating just looking at him, wondering what kind of horror could turn his face into a mask of pure nightmare. Before Tenma can even speak, Joke appears from the shadows, ready to explain the absolute disaster that just went down. Izumi knows this veteran instantly but is confused. Wasn't he supposed to be acting as the personal bodyguard for Aiden? Here's the part where things get dark. Joke admits the good guys just took a massive soul-crushing loss. Aiden has been taken by demons, and his young son is dead. Joke tried to track them, but the enemy general was playing 4D chess with clones. Tenma is refusing any medical help. His daughter notices the boy's body is vibrating with a cold, terrifying energy. She can feel a rage coming off him that is fiercer than anything she's ever felt. Later, Tenma sits alone in the dark, staring at a childhood photo of Iberia and his family. He starts spiraling into memories of their first meeting and every single moment they shared on this long journey. It is a heavy moment of grief, but he eventually snaps back to reality and calls for his wolf. A system window pops up showing the loyal beast hit level 20, rocking some serious high-level status points now. The squad is broken, but Tenma is clearly preparing to go on a total warpath. Standing up, Tenma looks like he is ready to crash the whole server, promising to hunt the disaster beast and absolutely demolish whoever did this to his friend. Now you and I can practically feel the tension through the screen as the rest of the squad enters the room. Jiri finally realizes this guy is actually Yumi's second disciple and a total beast when it comes to real combat. When Izumi sees him trying to leave, he asks where he's going. Tenma doesn't mince words for a second. He is going to save Aiden, but his master hits him with a hard no right then and there. Yumi explains the Salvation League has already flagged this as a special grade, high-level threat. If Tenma wants in, he needs to be a second-grade savior. Hearing that, the boy goes from 0 to 100. He is enraged, arguing that he made a promise to a dying friend and won't let some rank hold him back. He tells them straight up if they try to stop him, he will just go against them and do it anyway. The group is totally shocked by his disrespect. Yumi stops him cold, asking if he is okay with more people dying for his ego. He drops a truth bomb. All of this happened because Tenma was arrogant and neglected to protect Aiden properly. Izumi assures him they won't kill Aiden yet, not after going through the trouble of snatching him up. But he warns Tenma that his current power level isn't nearly enough to handle this final boss scenario. If Tenma can somehow surpass that special grade level, Izumi promises to personally request the League to hand over the mission. But first, Tenma must join the Apex camp, a literal hellscape for the top 10 awakened. Legendary powerhouses like Heighten and Tiwajan all survived that brutal training to become humanity's protectors. And the next session starts in just 3 days. The master explains that clearing this camp is the only way to rank up and become special class. Tenma agrees to the terms, but first the squad needs to fix his broken and battered body. Izumi's daughter uses her butterfly spirit to start the healing. While she works, Tenma asks what the real deal is with this mysterious Apex camp. He's worried she is judging his plan, but her reaction is actually one of pure, deep concern. Her father thinks it's perfect, but she reveals the place is basically a graveyard for geniuses. Top-tier warriors go there, and come out with their minds completely broken because the training is so fatal that accidents are just part of the routine. But our boy doesn't even blink. Trust me, you and I are about to see him walk into hell just to evolve his skills and finally level up. Stick with me, it is wild. He leans in, reminding her that hunting monsters is just part of the job, noticing her face is flushed from burning through all that healing mana. She gets flustered, blaming the heat on her skills, but he has already moved on. Tenma is locked in on his next objective. Grabbing his coat, he heads for the door with a chillingly serious look. He has got one last person he needs to say goodbye to. He heads deep into the forest to Iberia's grave, where Jose is already standing in silence, paying his final respects. Tenma stops to apologize, knowing how much it hurt to make the boy deliver the finishing blow to his own friend. He promises it is okay, and reveals his true plan. He is joining the Apex camp to get strong enough to hunt down the disaster beast himself. When he asks what is next for Josuke, the veteran gets a little emotional, explaining his master gave him everything: his sword, his life, his purpose. Now, he is going to find him, no matter the cost. Tenma cuts him off with a fist right in his face, swearing that once he levels up, they will save Aiden together. Joki gladly agrees, and the two brothers in arms share a heavy fist bump to seal the pact. Now watch this carefully because appearances are deceiving. Tenma looks fine, but Iyumi knows the truth. The boy has not actually healed. He is just burying all that darkness deep inside, waiting to unleash it when the real fighting starts later on. With the plans set, the commander leaves for a global summit, leaving Tenma under the watchful eye of his daughter. She is acting all proud of her new role, but Tenma immediately shuts it down, demanding to know where they are going. She tries to play it cool and mysterious before finally pointing the way toward their destination, Nakasu. They are heading straight for the Apex camp. Tenma does not blink, following her lead instantly. But meanwhile, in a completely different spot, that red-haired guy, Rai, is trapped in a nightmare, replaying the moment Tenma absolutely destroyed him over and over in his head. He wakes up screaming, wrapped in bandages like a mummy. His mother rushes in, desperately trying to calm his shaking body. I know what you are thinking, revenge is coming. He confirms the nightmare, swearing he will make Tenma pay for the humiliation. His mom tells him to breathe. His massive big brother is finally here to handle the dirty work. Right on cue, a giant powerhouse steps out of the dark, asking if Tenma is the one who broke his brother. The name alone sends Rai into a frenzy, screaming about how Tenma took first place and stole his spotlight. The big brother just smiles like a demon. With a performance like that, Tenma is definitely going to be at the camp. And trust me, you and I are about to see one hell of a clash.